Chapter 297. The old man left after staying in the clinic for less than 20 minutes. After coming out of Wang Yao's clinic, the healthcare doctor next to the old man said with a smile, "Dr. Wang is a wonderful person. What's wrong?" Other people open their medical centers in areas with high human traffic, which is convenient to attract people, Wang Yao said. However, he opened his medical center in this remote mountain village without even a symbolic plaque. If we didn't communicate with each other in advance, we wouldn't have known there was such a person here. Who would come to such a place on a normal day? Someone will come, the old man said with a smile. As long as people know how good his medical skills are, his reputation will spread. At that time, not to mention in this small mountain village, even in more remote places, there will be people who will come to see him. When the car left, the sun was at its fiercest. "You really shouldn't have come in such weather," the old man said. "Just take it as a distraction." "Let's go," the old man said. In Jing, thousands of miles away, several experts were having a consultation. The subject of the consultation was a young man who came overnight. His illness was difficult to treat. "Since it has come to this extent, why don't we just cut it off?" a doctor said. He had never liked such a young man. "How can that be? He is not married yet. In his current situation, even if he is cured, he will lose the ability to have children. Staying is just a symbolic meaning. Of the two plans, I agree with the first one." Just as the doctors were discussing, in the ward, the pale Chu Yang was lying on the hospital bed. His body was trembling. "How can I be treated? Can I be cured?" He thought a lot for a while. At this time, he regretted it. In other words, he had been regretting it for a long time. He regretted that he had been happy at that time. Now, his life was worse than death. If there was a medicine for regret in life, he would have 2 bottles. Unfortunately, there was no medicine. His parents accompanied him by the hospital bed. Their faces were also full of worry. They also regretted that they had been so indulgent with their precious son. It was true that they spoiled the son and killed the son. After a while, the doctor in charge came in and asked his parents to go out. "Let's discuss this with you two first. We have already formulated a treatment plan, but this plan also has a certain degree of risk. Whether to proceed according to this plan, we still need to listen to your opinions." Then, the doctor told the 2 elders the treatment plan. "Doctor, let's follow this plan." "Okay, but there's something I need to tell you in advance. Even if the treatment process is very smooth, your son will lose his fertility. You have to be mentally prepared for this." "What?" The 2 old men were stunned. They immediately felt dizzy and hurriedly supported each other. They were still thinking of holding their grandchildren, and of having 3 or 4 generations living under the same roof. Suddenly hearing such grievous news was no different from a blow to the head. His beautiful hope turned into nothing. Sigh, the 2 old men took a long time to catch their breath. "All right, sorry to trouble you." Even his voice was weak. "You guys should take it easy," the doctor advised. When the 2 elders entered the ward, they felt as if there was a stone pressing down on their hearts, making it hard for them to breathe. Chu Yang was very anxious just now. As soon as he saw his parents come in, he immediately asked, "How is it, Mom and Dad?" "The doctor has determined the treatment plan. It can cure you," his mother said with a forced smile. That's good," Chu Yang said. 29th of June on the lunar calendar. It was a hot summer. It was suitable for sacrifice and moving graves. It was the hottest day of the year. The villagers chose to move the graves at noon, when the sun was the hottest. There was a crackling sound of firecrackers. Moving graves at this time? Wang Yao stood on the hill and looked into the distance. In the spirit-gathering battle array, the wind was very comfortable and cool. Don't tell me someone fell? In such a hot sun, even a strong man might not be able to withstand it. Fortunately, the whole process was very smooth. At noon, a new grave was formed. The children of the family held a sacrifice. They cried and howled, heartbroken for their old man. Thud. An old woman knelt down and never got up again. It was the next one. Sister. Several people panicked. They hurriedly carried her down the hill and sent her to the hospital. Sure enough, something happened. Wang Yao whispered. Who chose this day? After a while, the ground on the opposite hill was empty. There were only some unburned paper money left. Wang Yao sat under a big tree next to the cottage and looked at a few red flowers not far away. The dangyang flower he planted grew the most vigorously in this hottest season and bloomed with beautiful flowers. The hotter the sun, the better the growth of this kind of licorice root. Of course, there had to be enough spiritual qi. Looking at the red flowers swaying in the wind, Wang Yao smiled and said, I need you. Outside the clinic at the foot of the hill, an honest man knocked on the door a few times. He did not hear any response, so he went back. Buplurum, Kohash, Kudzu root, Qianghua, Fongfeng, Dangyang flower. On the hill, Wang Yao prepared the herbs for decocting sanyang powder. He was going to decoct the medicine the next day. He went down the hill in the afternoon and went home. At the entrance of the village, he happened to meet Wang Fengming. Wang Fengming seemed to have been waiting there for a long time. When he saw Wang Yao coming, he smiled and went up to him. Uncle. Yao, are you going home? Yes, uncle. What's the matter? Wang Yao asked. Yes, your aunt has been having headaches since yesterday. She went to the hospital in town to have a look. They said it was a heat stroke. It has become worse today. Let's go. I'll go with you, Wang Yao hurriedly said. He followed Wang Fengming to his home. The woman who had worked hard for most of her life was lying on the bed. She did not look well. Yao is here. The woman saw Wang Yao and was about to get up. Hey, aunt, you don't feel well. Just lie there. Let me take a look. Wang Yao checked her pulse. It was indeed a heat stroke, but the heat in her body could not be effectively discharged, which caused the burden on the body to increase. Let me give you a massage. Okay. Wang Yao immediately began to massage her acupoints. He mainly massaged the main meridians on her back and several important acupoints. In just a moment she was sweating all over. The sweat on her forehead could not stop flowing down. As soon as the sweat came out, she felt a little better. Let my aunt rest for a while. I'll prescribe a medicine for her tomorrow. Oh, okay, thank you. How about the consultation fee? Hey, there's no need. Wang Yao smiled and waved his hand. How can that be? Wang Fengming asked. There's really no need, uncle. If there's nothing else, I'll go home first. Wang Yao took back the money Wang Fengming took out. They were from the same village. Wang Fengming was honest and loyal. He had helped to save the fire on Nanshan Hill that day. This was just a small matter. It was not appropriate to take money from him. When Wang Yao returned home, he found his mother chatting with his sister through video. Hey Yao, where is Jizhegu? Wang Yao suddenly stopped in his tracks. Wait, sister, didn't you go to southern Yunnan? Why are you in Jizhegu? It's not far from southern Yunnan. We came to see the scenery and see the local agricultural development in addition to the exchange of knowledge. We also came to exchange knowledge and progress. Exchange knowledge and progress? You make it sound so dignified. This is a public expense trip, okay? Wang Yao said a few words to his sister. Hey brother, the pill you gave me is quite useful. Pill? What pill? Wang Yao did not come back to his senses for a moment. It's the prolongation pill you gave me. Wang Ru said with a smile in the video. You used it? What happened? Wang Yao hurriedly asked. I didn't use it, but I gave it to someone else, Wang Ru said with a smile. Someone else? Who did you give it to? Wang Yao hurriedly asked. Your colleague. No, I was on a trip. I met a stranger when I was not talking to him. He was about to die. I thought you told me that the pill was effective, so I took it out and gave it to him. In the end, he really was saved. Wang Ru seemed to be quite excited when she mentioned this matter. You used it to save a stranger? Yes, what's wrong? Wang Yao was stunned. You're a prodigal woman. How can you say that? Wang Ru was unhappy on the other end of the phone. You know that pill, it. Forget it, as long as you're happy. Wang Yao finally waved his hand helplessly. Chapter 298. That life prolongation pill was something that many people wanted but couldn't get their hands on. Back in the capital, the Guo family, the Su family, the Chun family, and the Li family, which one of them didn't want that pill but couldn't get it? He had only given out 3 pills to the 3 people closest to him. He also specifically told them not to use it unless it was an emergency. His elder sister was really good. But it was also good. He saved someone. Xiao Yao, the pill you gave us is very precious, isn't it? Yes, it's fine, Wang Yao said with a smile. It was not an exaggeration to say that as long as he gave a price, those who knew the magic of the medicine would definitely rush to buy it. Dad, have you used the medicine I made for you? Yes, I have. It's very good, Wang Fenghua said with a smile. It's better for you to smoke less. I suggest you drink more tea. Okay, Wang Fenghua said with a smile. After dinner, Wang Yao stretched his parents. When he was about to go up the hill, the secretary of the village came to his house. Uncle! What's wrong? Are you going up the hill again? Yes, please come in. Wang Yao invited Wang Jianli into the house and made tea. Uncle, you are here. After a few greetings, Wang Jianli explained the purpose of his visit. According to the latest plan of the county, a road was going to be built in the north of the village for the development of Lijiago Hot Spring. Wang Yao's family still had some land in that area and might occupy it. In fact, Wang Jianli didn't come specially. He came to the entrance of the alley when he walked out for a walk after dinner. He suddenly thought of this matter and came to Wang Yao's house. The village was going to post notices about this matter recently. He came to inform Wang Yao first to express his gratitude. This is just a plan. Okay, thank you, uncle. Wang Jianli stayed at Wang Yao's house for a while before leaving. Wang Yao followed him out the door. Building a road? This matter is nothing more than an insignificant trifle. That night, the weather was unusually hot and stuffy. Be it outside or inside the house, there was no wind at all. Phew, it's all thanks to Wang Yao this time. In Wang Fengming's home, the couple chatted. Yes, there aren't many young people like him nowadays. Just as the couple was talking, a shout suddenly came from outside. What happened? You rest here, I'll go out and take a look. Wang Fengming came out of the house and heard shouts in the yard. He looked up and vaguely saw a fire. He came out of the house and came to the street. This time, he found that some houses on the hillside in the west of the village were on fire. The fire was not small. Some people nearby were busy putting out the fire. He rushed over without any hesitation. It was very dry on such a day. Every farmer's yard had some firewood stored and prepared. It was very likely that the fire had started there. The entire house was on fire. What are you doing? Are you crazy? A few villagers pulled a middle-aged man back. I want to go in. With such a big fire, you won't be able to get out if you go in. With a bang, a corner of the house was directly burned down. There were no fire hydrants in the village. The villagers could only carry buckets in their hands and squat in basins to put out the fire. However, the effect was very poor. Seeing that more than half of the house was on fire, the neighbors around the house were very worried. They were afraid that the fire would continue to spread. The family members came out and tidied up the valuable things. They found a water pipe at home and used tap water to put out the fire. They also called the fire alarm, but by the time the firefighters came, the fire had basically been put out by the villagers. It's over. The owner of the burning house sat on the ground. His house was completely destroyed by the fire. It was impossible to renovate it. He could only rebuild it. The villagers were superstitious. It was not so auspicious to build a new house on the foundation of a burning house. The man suddenly screamed. It was not until then that he remembered that his arm was burned by the fire. His left arm was badly burned. It was a shocking sight. He had no time to clean up the burned house. He was sent to the hospital. Wang Yao, who was already on Nanshan Hill, naturally did not know about the sudden change in the village. In the hut, he prepared all the herbs needed to decoct the sanyang powder tomorrow. Then he recited a volume of scriptures. It was not until late at night that he turned off the lights and went to sleep. In the mountain village, it was not until the wee hours of the morning that the crowd completely dispersed. The fire made the people temporarily forget the hot weather, and at the same time, it also made the mountain village have another topic to talk about after a meal. In the morning of the next day, Wang Yao got up early. On Nanshan Hill, the wind was slightly stronger. On the side of the mountain rock, Wang Yao practiced boxing. He punched out, and a popping sound was heard. The air-breaking fist. The fist broke the air. Wang Yao became more and more proficient in this set of boxing. He also thoroughly understood the mystery of it. This punch could break the rocks and crack the earth. It was almost enough to kill a cow. After one punch, his internal breath rushed and his meridians were smooth. That day, Wang Yao looked up at the sky and then went down the mountain. A bowl of noodles was a simple breakfast. He added water, burned firewood, and several herbs one by one. In the multifunctional pot for herbs, the medicine was slightly boiling. The medicine fragrance filled the whole hut. At this time, the sun was shining outside the hut. It was the time when the yang qi was strong. The medicine was decocted in the morning. Then Wang Yao decocted a medicine to reduce the temperature and relieve the heat. This medicine was relatively simple. He had decocted it for his grandpa last time. It was all common herbs, so it was relatively easy to refine. In the Su family in Jing, thousands of miles away. More than a month has passed. He still hasn't come? Let's wait a little longer. But the medicine has been used up. Ask Boyuan to go there first, and then ask him what he means. Song Ruiping was obviously calmer than last time because her daughter's condition was obviously under control and getting better. She guessed that Wang Yao might have gone back to prepare something. She also hoped that Wang Yao could bring them a bigger surprise the next time he came. At the same time, in a famous hospital in Beijing, an operation was in progress. The ulcerated tissue was removed. The latest technology and drugs were used to implant similar tissues to promote the recovery of the ulceration. The operation lasted for more than 3 hours. Phew, so tiring. Sometimes the doctors in these big hospitals would perform several operations in a row. The continuous high concentration was a great challenge for them. It made people feel tired in both physical and mental aspects. When the doctor came out of the operating room, the patient's family members surrounded him. "How is it, doctor?" "Not bad. The operation was successful. The next step is to see the patient's recovery." Thank you. The two elders seemed to have aged 5 years in a few days. After the operation, Chu Yang was still in a coma. In the ward, a doctor came in and asked about the patient's condition. Then he asked the two elders, "Where is Ms. Chu?" "Oh, she just went out. Are you looking for her?" "It's okay. It's not too late to talk about it later." Professor Su smiled and waved his hand. "Hey, Mr. Wei." When he came out of the ward, he was surprised to see Wei Hai. Although he was dissatisfied with his brother-in-law, he still had to keep up appearances. His father-in-law and mother-in-law were really good to him. Therefore, after arranging things at home, Wei Hai also came to Jing. He did not expect such a coincidence. The place where Chu Yang had the operation was also the place where he came to Jing for checkups several times. Moreover, it was Professor Su again. What a coincidence! "Hello, Professor Su. The operation has just finished. It was quite successful." "Thank you. Sorry to trouble you," Wei Hai said. Is there anything else, Professor Su? He saw that Professor Su had something to say, so he took the initiative to ask. When the patient's condition is better, I hope you can fulfill your promise. Promise? What promise? Wei Hai was stunned. He did not think about what he had promised Professor Su. Hey, didn't Ms. Chu tell you? Professor Su was also stunned. I'll ask her later. Sorry to trouble you. It's my pleasure. Promise? What promise? Wei Hai looked at his wife who was walking over. Why didn't you come? The beautiful woman was very happy to see her husband. I came to take a look. What did you promise Professor Su? Wei Hai asked. Professor Su? The beautiful woman was stunned. She immediately remembered that she had promised Professor Su something. Chapter 299. What? Why did you agree to his request? Wei Hai asked angrily after hearing what his wife said. I did it to save Xiao Yang. The beautiful woman was also a little angry. What can I do? What's wrong? At this time, an old woman came out of the ward and saw that the couple seemed to be quarreling. Nothing. Wei Hai put away his anger in time and smiled. I'll go get some water. I'll go. Wei Hai took the kettle from the old woman's hand and went to get water. What's the matter? The old woman turned her head and asked her daughter. It's really nothing, Mom. Well, don't be awkward because of Xiao Yang's matter. The old woman advised her daughter. Her son was lying in the hospital bed like that. She couldn't let anything happen to her daughter. While getting water, Wei Hai took a few deep breaths. How should I tell him about this? Since his wife had promised the professor, she naturally had to fulfill her promise. Now that Wang Yao had started to open a medical center, his thoughts were gradually changing. I'll find time to sound him out. In Jiahui Group in Lianshan County, Tian Yuantu looked at the distinguished guest in front of him. This was already the third time that Sun Jingrong had visited in the past month. He was very clear about the purpose of Sun Jingrong's visit. The person he wanted to visit was Wang Yao, the carefree doctor who lived leisurely in the mountains. Mr. Sun, please wait a moment. I'll make a phone call. Tian Yuantu immediately got up and went out to call Wang Yao. Again? On the other end of the phone, Wang Yao was stunned. Ask him to come. Okay. He said that he has time now. You can go there. Really? Sun Jingrong was surprised. Of course. I'll take you there. Okay, thank you. In the hot weather, a luxury car left Lianshan County. After more than 20 minutes of driving, it arrived in the mountain village. In the mountains? Looking at the endless hills on both sides of the road, Sun Jingrong was a little surprised. He really didn't expect that the young doctor would actually be in these hills. The mountain village was located in a ravine, surrounded by hills in all directions. The car drove to the south of the village and stopped outside the clinic. It's here. Tian Yuantu pointed to the beautiful building outside. New? Yes, it was built less than a month ago. The two of them got out of the car but did not knock on the door. Wang Yao was in Wang Fengming's house at this time. Where's the medicine? Take it on time. Andy, don't go out for the next 2 days. Rest well at home to prevent your illness from getting worse. Thank you, Yao. Originally, Wang Yao didn't plan to ask for money, but Wang Fengming wasn't happy and insisted on giving it to him, so Wang Yao just accepted a little bit. The weather was very hot. Tian Yuantu and Sun Jingrong waited outside. After a short while, his clothes were drenched in sweat. Let's wait in the car. Tian Yuantu wiped his sweat. Standing outside on such a hot day and being baked by the sun was quite uncomfortable. Let's wait a little longer, Sun Jingrong said with a smile. So, the two of them waited outside like this. If this matter was known by people who were familiar with the two of them, they would definitely be shocked. The two of them were leading figures in their respective places. It was simply unimaginable to make them wait in such a hot sun. After leaving Wang Fengming's house, Wang Yao originally wanted to go home. However, when he saw a car parked at the south of the village with a Dao license plate number, he knew that Sun Jingrong had come. So, he turned and went to the clinic. Under the hot sun, Tian Yuantu and Sun Jingrong were sweating. Wang Yao was stunned. He was just about to ask why they didn't wait in the car when he thought about it. He probably understood that this was Sun Jingrong's idea, so he didn't say anything. Come in and have a seat. Wang Yao also walked a distance under the hot sun, but there was no sweat on his body at all. Sun Jingrong was very curious about this. As soon as they entered the small courtyard, the two of them felt that the surroundings were a lot cooler. Dr. Wang's courtyard is very unique. Sun Jingrong looked around the small courtyard and said, "It's not bad." After entering the house, he made a pot of tea for the two of them. There was no air conditioning in the house, nor was the TV turned on, but it felt very cool. "Dr. Wang, when are you going to open the clinic? We still have to wait a little longer. Please have some tea." "Thank you." The purpose of Sun Jingrong's visit was very simple and direct. "When can I bring Yunxing here to see a doctor?" "As long as I'm free, I can call in advance." "Really?" Sun Jingrong was very happy. Of course. That's great. Even when he had signed contracts worth hundreds of millions or even billions of dollars, he had never been so happy. "How is Mr. Sun's condition now?" "It's still stable. The medicine should be able to suppress it for more than a month." Wang Yao took a sip of tea. During this month, he had to try his best to find a way to deal with the terrible yang toxin in Sun Jingrong's body. Otherwise, he could only forcibly suppress it with frost grass again and continue to delay. Sun Jingrong and Tian Yuantu stayed for nearly half an hour. Although Wang Yao had met Sun Jingrong several times in advance, he found that the seemingly serious Sun Jingrong was actually an interesting person. He talked and laughed wittily and had extraordinary knowledge. "Thank you, Dr. Wang, for the tea." Sun Jingrong smiled before leaving. "It's very good. A friend gave it to me. I'm just presenting it to Buddha with borrowed flowers," Wang Yao said with a smile. After seeing the two of them out, he turned around and returned to the clinic. After returning to the car, Sun Jingrong asked Tian Yuantu, "Are Dr. Wang's parents also in this village?" "Yes, they are also in this village. He should have just come out of his home." "Oh." Sun Jingrong responded and did not ask any more questions. The road back was very narrow and bumpy. On the road, there was a woman riding an electric scooter. Perhaps it was because the weather was too hot or something else, she suddenly turned into the middle of the road. The driver hurriedly dodged. Fortunately, he reacted in time and did not hit her head-on. The scooter was hung on the ground. The woman fell to the ground. There was a 1-meter-long scratch on the side of the car. After getting out of the car, the driver was quite annoyed. "How can you ride a bike?" "Xiao Li." Sun Jingrong also got out of the car. "Are you okay?" Sun Jingrong helped the woman up. He found that her palms and knees were injured. Other than that, he did not find any problems. "I'm fine. I'm fine." The woman was a little flustered. She looked at the car. There was a long scratch. She knew that the car should be very expensive. It was definitely not something she could afford to pay for. "Do you want me to take you to the hospital?" No, the woman said. "I have something to do. I'll leave first." She did not want to scam him. She was afraid that the man who looked like a big boss would ask her to pay for it. Sun Jingrong wanted to leave his business card. However, the woman rode the scooter and left in a hurry. Sun Jingrong shook his head with a smile. Tian Yuantu, who had gotten out of the car and was standing next to him, also smiled. "Okay, let's go." "Let's go." "Is Dr. Wang at home almost all the time?" Just as the car turned from the cement road to the asphalt road, he suddenly asked such a question. If there is no accident, he should be at home. No, to be precise, he should be on the hill. "The hill?" "Yes, Nanshan Hill. It's leisurely Nanshan Hill," Tian Yuantu said. You haven't been there yet. It's a very good place. Oh, I'll go and have a look the next time I come, Sun Jingrong said with a smile. After sending Tian Yuantu back to Jiahui Group, Sun Jingrong chatted with him for a while. He politely declined Tian Yuantu's invitation to stay and returned to Dao. This is Mr. Sunday. He can really endure for the sake of his son. Based on his past understanding of Sun Jingrong, he was very clear that Sun Jingrong was arbitrary and domineering. He had never done so much to see a person and leave a good impression on him. Wasn't he tired? However, when he thought about it, wasn't he the same? In the beginning, he had put in a lot of effort to make friends with Wang Yao. Even now, could he really treat Wang Yao as a friend, an equal friend? Chapter 300. It was easy for people to worry about gains and losses. In fact, neither Tian Yuantu nor Wei Hai really saw Wang Yao as a friend. Or rather, it was not that pure. They were businessmen, and their eyes fell on the benefits. On the contrary, they lacked the purity of friends. For example, Wang Mingbao, who grew up with Wang Yao, did not think so much. In fact, Wang Yao did not think so much. As businessmen, they thought too much. He's back. When he returned home in the afternoon, Wang Yao heard from his parents that Wang Fenglong, who was seriously ill because of the feng shui problem in the ancestral tomb, had returned from the hospital. His condition had improved a lot, but he was still weak. There was no treatment effect if he continued to stay in the hospital, so he came back to recuperate. What kind of disease does he have? Wang Yao was very curious about this matter. What did you say? Zhang Xiuying heard her son seem to be talking to himself, so she asked. Oh, it's nothing. Wang Yao smiled and waved his hand. This child. Zhang Xiuying did not ask much. At this time, Wang Fenglong, who was lying on the Kong, felt weak and lazy. Even his consciousness seemed to be a little blurred. It felt like he was in a hazy dream and had not completely woken up. This state had lasted for more than a day. First, it was the sudden feeling of living a life worse than death. Then, it was the weakness of the body. The illness came very quickly. In the hospital in Haik, the experts did not find a suitable solution at all. After confirming that his life was not in danger, they let him go through the discharge procedures. They only asked him to go for regular checkups and prescribed him some medicine. For his family, the high cost of hospitalization was indeed unbearable, so he came back. However, it was not a solution to always lie on the bed like this. After discussing for a while, his relatives went out to inquire about the so-called folk prescription. His wife also went out to find a fortune-teller. Since the feng shui master had said that his illness was caused by the misplacement of the haunted house of the deceased old man in his family, and his condition had indeed improved after the grave was moved, then was there a way to cure him? Sometimes, in order to cure a disease, no matter how ridiculous the method was, patients and their families would try it. The next day, the weather was still hot. An old man in his 80s had left the village. They would die from the heat. Life is fragile. Wang Yao sighed when he heard the news. For a moment, he thought of his grandparents again. He informed his family and drove to a nearby mountain village. The two elders were at home, fanning themselves and watching TV. They seemed to be in good spirits. Yao, why are you here? The old man was surprised to see Wang Yao. It's nothing. I just came to see you. Grandpa, are you feeling better? All right, it's fine. What are you doing here on such a hot day? Let me show you. Wang Yao then took a look at the two elders. After confirming that there was no major problem with their bodies, he was relieved. It's too hot outside. You have to be careful. If you feel uncomfortable, take the pills I gave you in time. Oh, I know, the old man said with a smile. Your pills are quite useful, Wang Yao's grandfather said with a smile. A few days ago, he felt uncomfortable again, so he took one pill. It worked in a very short time. It was very useful. That's good. After sitting there for a while, Wang Yao said goodbye and left. After returning home, he told his family and was about to go to Nanshan Hill. The phone rang. It was an unfamiliar number. Hello. What? Wang Yao was slightly stunned. You have the wrong number. After saying that, he hung up the phone. Wrong number? Can't I? The young man on the other end of the phone was stunned. Immediately, his face became gloomy. On purpose, it must be on purpose. You wait for me. Crazy. Wang Yao muttered to himself. He did not take it seriously and went straight to Nanshan Hill. Li Xiaoyang was very angry, very angry. He had never been so angry in his life. He was inexplicably plotted against, hospitalized, and suffered so much pain. He could not get close to women for at least 3 months. It was simply incomparable torture for him. For a person who loved drinking as much as his life, what did it mean to let him not drink for 3 months? For a person who could not live without meat for 3 months, what kind of torture was it to let him not taste meat for 3 months? He had been in love since junior high school. Then, once he started, it was out of control. Over the years, he had harmed many girls. In addition, his family did have some power to support him. Until one day, he kicked an iron plate and caused pain all over his body. How could he let this kind of thing go so easily? Then, he carefully inquired about the guy who was most likely to frame him. Then, he called the guy. Before he finished speaking, the guy hung up. Damn, you think I can't punish you because you are in hike, right? Li Xiaoyang's eyes were full of anger. At this time, he thought that even if it was not Wang Yao who did it, he had to teach the guy a lesson for his attitude. He was full of anger and had no place to vent it. Hike? He was thinking about where to start. After all, he only knew the guy's phone number and name. He can't be cured. In the mountain village, Wang Yao sat opposite Pan Jun with a worried face. His uncle was diagnosed with terminal cancer. He had just gone to the hospital in Wei City for an operation. His body was very thin. The doctor said it could only sustain his life, but how long it could last depended on the patient's own effort. He did not know why, but he thought of Wang Yao and hurried over. Before he came, he still had a glimmer of hope. What was cancer? It was almost equivalent to a terminal disease. This was not the first time Wang Yao had contacted a cancer patient. When he was in Beijing, He Qixing had asked him to treat his mother. His mother also had the same disease. There was no cure, at least not with Wang Yao's current ability. Maybe in the future. Sorry to disturb you. It's okay. Think of a way to make the patient a little happier. Wang Yao smiled. His words were direct. Who would be so magnanimous that they could still be happy and smile when they had a terminal illness? Pan Jun replied, then left. Wang Yao was thinking about this matter. Cancer? This disease, he would have to face sooner or later. How to treat it? Could he think of countermeasures and methods early? Or could he directly contact a patient to try? Of course, these were just thoughts in his mind. Miss, you are back. In the airport in Beijing, He Qixing came to pick up Guosairu, who had just returned from abroad. How is Dr. Wang's matter? There is a problem. Such a small matter. Who is in the way? Guosairu frowned. It was just a certificate. For her family, a problem that could be solved with a phone call. How could there be so many mistakes? Now that the Su family had intervened, wouldn't it be a joke for others to see? Well, you should ask the chief about this. My father? What is he thinking about? Guosairu sighed. Since her grandfather passed away, she rarely went home. Her father was now more and more obsessed with power. I don't know about this. I will go home first. Book a plane ticket to hike for me tomorrow. Yes. The great summer had just passed, but the weather was still unusually hot. It was unbearable. Early in the morning, the sun was dazzling. What a hot day. What's wrong? Is the business in the city not busy? Wang Yao poured a cup of tea for Wang Mingbao. Fortunately, There is something I want to ask you. What is it? Wang Yao said with a smile. Do you have any friends in Dangzhou who can help you? Dangzhou? What happened? My second uncle's cousin got into trouble there and was locked up in the police station. My second uncle went there. The matter is not easy to handle, Wang Mingbao said. Well, Wang Yao thought. He really didn't know anyone in Dangzhou. Chapter 301. I'll ask him. Wang Yao then called Tian Yuan to Dangzhou. Hearing that, Sun Jingrong was a little embarrassed. You can call Sun Jingrong, Wang Yao said. He has a lot of connections. As far as I know, he also has a big business in Dangzhou. He should be able to talk to him. Okay. Wang Yao then called Sun Jingrong. Sun Jingrong asked about the matter and only said one sentence. It's a piece of cake. It was indeed a piece of cake for him. It was just a matter of a phone call. Wang Mingbao waited at Wang Yao's place. In less than an hour, he received a call that his cousin was fine. Amazing! After being silent for a long time, he exclaimed. Yes, it's amazing! Wang Yao also said. Not to mention other things, just the connections alone were not something he could compare with. How should I thank Mr. Sun? You don't have to worry about that. Leave it to me, Wang Yao replied with a smile. Not long after Wang Mingbao left, another guest came. It was a beautiful woman, Guosairu. After entering the small courtyard, Guosairu praised, "What an exquisite medical center! Didn't you go abroad to relax? Why are you back so soon?" Wang Yao smiled and made a cup of tea for Guosairu. More than a month ago, when he was in Beijing, Miss Guo was in a very bad mood because of the death of her father. Therefore, she said that she wanted to go out to relax. The time and place were not set. He did not expect her to come back so soon. My mood is almost recovered, so I came back, Guosairu said with a smile. You've lost weight. The beautiful woman in front of him did lose weight, but she looked more beautiful. There was an indescribable temperament on her body. Yes, I've lost weight. Let's talk about you. When is the medical center going to open? Guosairu smiled faintly and charmingly. Let's wait a little longer, Wang Yao said as he filled her cup with water. The two of them sat opposite each other and chatted for a long time, just like two old friends who hadn't seen each other for a long time. Soon, it was already past noon. Why don't you come to my house for a meal? Wang Yao invited. Okay. What surprised him was that Guosairu actually agreed very readily. And she was obviously prepared. She took out a few boxes of exquisite gifts from the car. There's no need for that, right? It's the first time we're meeting. Isn't it inappropriate to be empty-handed? Guosairu said with a smile. TSK, why does this sound a little awkward? Zhang Xiuying and Wang Fenghua were both stunned when they saw Guosairu carrying gift. What's going on? Why did you bring back such a beautiful daughter? Hello, Auntie. Guosairu was, after all, from a wealthy family. Her voice was very sweet. In the ears of the two elders, there was a lot of sugar in her voice, which was at least 3 plus signs. Hello. Zhang Xiuying asked her son with her eyes. Who is this daughter? Dad, Mom, let me introduce you. This is Guosairu, my friend from Beijing. Friend? Oh, come in and sit down. Zhang Xiuying and her husband were busy serving tea and pouring water. They were very busy. Auntie, let me do it. Her manners once again showed that she was extraordinarily cultured. Zhang Xiuying was busy in the kitchen. Guosairu also wanted to help, but she was stopped. At this time, she vaguely felt that her coming to eat this meal seemed to have caused the confusion of Wang Yao's parents. It didn't take long for Wang Yao's mother to prepare a table full of dishes. It was very sumptuous. Thank you, Uncle, Auntie. During the meal, Wang Yao's parents asked some questions. Where are they from? How old are they? How many brothers and sisters do they have? Wang Yao couldn't stop coughing as if he had a cold. Haha, Guosairu smiled and answered the two elders' questions. Within the system, civil servants. Good heavens, her parents were indeed civil servants. Wang Yao endured the meal with difficulty. Good heavens, he felt that this was not his home. Guosairu said goodbye and left. Wang Yao's parents walked her to the entrance of the alley. This girl drives a good car. Uncle, auntie, you can go back. Thank you for your hospitality. Guosairu waved her hand to Wang Yao and then drove away. Yao, come in, Mom has something to ask you, Zhang Xiuying said. What's the matter with that girl just now? Friend, ordinary friend, Wang Yao said with a smile. Is she really an ordinary friend? Yes. I think this girl is good. Wang Yao was speechless after hearing that. What about Tong Wei? What is this about? Mom, to tell you the truth, she is a descendant of a wealthy family in Jing City, Wang Yao said. When I went to Jing City, I treated her grandfather. She came here because she heard that I opened a clinic here. She came to see me. Really? Of course. After explaining it with difficulty, Wang Yao left home and went to Nanshan Hill. Hey, Lao Wang, do you think what our son said is true? Zhang Xiuying still did not believe her husband. It's true. That girl is not ordinary, Wang Fenghua said. At their age, they had seen and experienced a lot. They could basically judge people with one glance. Wang Fenghua could naturally see that the girl with the surname Guo was extraordinary. This was not in Tong Wei. After all, the two of them lived in different families and environments. But that girl is really good. I think Tong Wei is better. When marrying a wife, the family should be of equal social status. Wang Yao did not know the conversation between his parents. He roughly knew the purpose of Guosairu's visit. It was just an accident that she went to his house for dinner. He was just a leisurely pharmacist in a mountain village. Guosairu was the descendant of a rich family in Beijing. The two of them could only be friends. They would not be lovers or husband and wife. She was a beauty, but she was beautiful. In the afternoon, Wang Yao continued to study medical books on the hill. He did not go down the hill until the evening. There were no patients on this day. More than a week had passed since the 30-day deadline. At night, the stars were high in the sky. Continue to delay for another month? Wang Yao was on the phone with Tong Wei, who was far away in a foreign country. Tong Wei originally planned to return to China this week. According to the arrangement of the head office, she had to continue to stay in France for another month. Is everything okay over there? Pretty good. Are you on the hill? Yes. The two of them chatted over a video call. They talked about each other's recent situation for more than an hour. It's getting late. You should go to bed early. It was still daytime over at Tong Wei's place, but it was already late at night over at Wang Yao's place. Take good care of yourself over there. Call me if you need anything. Okay. After hanging up the phone, Tong Wei, who was in France, still felt happy. People said that distance made the heart grow fonder. She felt that distance made her miss Wang Yao. For more than a month, she thought of him almost every night. As a developed country in Western Europe, life in France was very colorful. Moreover, this was Paris, which was famous for being romantic in the world. Handsome men and beautiful women from all over the world could be seen everywhere here. For an oriental beauty like Tong Wei, she was naturally pursued by many people here. There were foreign senior officials and rich Chinese businessmen in the company. However, her heart was still thousands of miles away in her homeland, in the mountain village. France? Wang Yao softly repeated the name. The next day, the sky was very gloomy. It started to rain in the afternoon. The rain was very heavy. Because of the rain, the summer heat subsided a lot. The weather was not as hot as before. The rain in Haik was heavier than the rain in Lianshan County. Mom, you don't have to worry about me anymore. She was a delicate girl who looked to be in her teens. Her face was extremely pale and her lips were also very pale. However, her eyes were filled with a resolute gaze. Let's go to Jing City. No, I've been to Hu City. The medical conditions in Jing City are not that good. Besides, didn't the doctor say that my illness? The girl did not continue. Her illness was not easy to treat. She suddenly had a fever. There were red spots all over her body. It was as if she had been pricked by needles. Then, her body became inexplicably weak. The results of the examination showed that her organs were slowly failing. There was also an unknown toxin in her blood. Chapter 302. They couldn't figure it out. This was the result they got after going to many hospitals. They couldn't figure out the cause of their daughter's illness. Naturally, it couldn't be cured. She was only 16 or 17 years old, but she was enduring unbearable pain. She didn't know when her illness would worsen. If it were any other child of her age, their will would have collapsed long ago. However, this girl persevered. She was very sensible. Not only did she persevere, but she also knew how to comfort her parents. There will be a way. The girl's father looked at his daughter with loving eyes. This daughter was very sensible. Over the years, she had gone back and forth without complaining or giving up on herself. In fact, in order to cure their daughter's illness, their originally rich family had almost lost everything. Wei City and Dao City were nearby. Hu City was far away. They had gone to all the famous hospitals and used all the connections they could to cure their daughter, but the results were not good. Sigh. Seeing their once lively and lovely daughter become thinner day by day, as parents, they actually felt more uncomfortable. There must be a doctor with excellent medical skills among the people. In Hike City. Secretary Yang, I can only help to ask about this. Tian Yuantu was a little embarrassed. Okay, I'll wait for your news, Yang Haichuan said with a smile. Phew. Tian Yuantu let out a long sigh of relief. Just now, his old classmate and friend had found him and said that he needed help. It turned out that he wanted to ask Wang Yao to treat an old leader. It was not good for him to do this kind of thing himself, so he thought of him and wanted him to be a middleman. He didn't dare to promise anything. He could only promise to help to ask. Under the influence of power, friendship had also changed. San Xian, don't move. The dog squatted on the ground and looked at Wang Yao with a strange look. Wang Yao. Poop picker, what do you mean by this? There were many silver needles in its body. Wang Yao was using it to perform acupuncture. This was the closest test subject he could think of besides his own body. In fact, he was just testing the strength of his hand. He didn't really pierce too deep. He was very clear about the difference between the structure of a dog and a human body. Alright, that's all for today. Wang Yao quickly removed the acupuncture needles from San Xian's body. This acupuncture technique is profound and extensive, but it's not good to experiment like this. We can gradually try it on some patients. He had yet to complete the mission of spreading his name from 100 miles away. He had not even reached half the number of people. However, in the past few days, he had received several calls from people expressing their gratitude. They were all patients who had come to him for treatment. They had conveyed their thanks to Li Maoshuang and others. Obviously, they had acknowledged his medical skills. Not bad. Wang Yao was in a good mood recently. Somewhere in Lianshan County. In a village, there were a few cars parked outside a house. Soon, another car drove over and stopped by the side. Is this the place? The man who got out of the car looked at the mountain village. His tone was full of doubt. Yes, it's here. Dr. Ma is here, but his temper is a bit strange, and his treatment method is also a bit strange. Shall we go in and take a look? The two men entered a house on the side of the road and found that there were 5 or 6 people waiting outside the yard. Some were smoking and talking. Is this Dr. Ma really so good? Of course. The middle-aged man approached and looked into the house. The furniture in the house was old. Among them, there was a particularly conspicuous bookcase. There were stacks of books on it, all of which were covered with dust. There was a table near the window. A person in the room was seeing a patient. He was in his 50s. His cheeks were thin and his body was slightly thin. The way this person saw a patient was indeed different from other doctors. The patient was a woman. Standing there, he did not ask, hear, or check the patient's pulse. He just walked in circles around the patient. First, he turned clockwise 3 times, then counterclockwise 3 times. Finally, he stopped and stared at the woman for about 3 minutes. Then, he returned to the table and sat down. He quickly wrote down a prescription. "I know your illness. This is a pharmacy. Go to the side and get the medicine." Is he seeing a patient? The man saw the process with his own eyes and was immediately stunned. Is this inviting the immortal? As soon as the woman came out, another person immediately went in. Wow, this! He really did not know what to say. If this could cure the disease, it would be really strange. That was what he thought. "Let's go," he said directly to his friend who brought him there. "What's wrong? Have you seen him treat a patient?" "Yes." "That is called a diagnosis. He is really good at it," the man said with a smile. "I have told you a long time ago. His way of seeing a patient is very unique, but it is very effective." "Have you seen him treat a patient?" the man asked. "No, but I have a relative who came to see him." "Forget it, I don't believe it." "Let's go," the middle-aged man said. Such a wild doctor was completely untrustworthy. How could there be so many people waiting in line to see him? It was really funny. "There are people from Hike who came to see him. Let's go." They went into the house, looked around, and then drove away. When they went out, another car came in. "Can this really cure the disease?" The man hesitated for a moment. "No matter how I look at it, it is a lie." In the same mountain village, there was another guest in Wang Yao's clinic. It was Wei Hai. "A doctor from Beijing wants to communicate with me?" He was a little surprised to hear such words coming out of Wei Hai's mouth. "How does he know me?" "Before I met you, I had sought treatment from a famous specialist in the capital, but he couldn't cure me. This time, after I was cured, I went to the capital for a checkup, and the results were very good." He was very surprised, and kept asking me who cured me. He wanted to communicate with me, but I didn't say anything, so he asked me again. Wei Hai lied. He knew this hospital. It was quite famous in Jing. What does he want to communicate with me about? "I don't know about that." Wei Hai smiled. "Well, you can tell Professor Su that I welcome him to come here as a guest," Wang Yao said with a smile. He had been in contact with the system for a long time. Except for Sanguzi, who was an expert in Xinglin, it seemed that he had not communicated with a serious Western medical expert. It should be good to communicate with him. It just depended on what the other party's purpose was. Okay. Hearing Wang Yao agree, he was relieved. "How is your brother-in-law's disease?" "The surgery in Jing should be able to save Ming, but he will not be able to have sex for the rest of his life." When he spoke, there was no trace of sympathy in his voice. It was as if he was talking about a passer-by. Wang Yao just nodded. After seeing Wei Hai off, Wang Yao walked around his small courtyard. He found that the grape in the corner was growing well. This grape was originally a whole grape he got from Chunkuan. It was planted in this season. Originally, it was impossible for it to bloom this year. However, since Wang Yao watered it with some ancient spring water, it grew very quickly. It looked like it could grow a few bunches of grapes this month. In the evening, Wang Yao locked the door and went home. On the way home, he saw a person who had been talked about a lot in the village. Wang Fenglong. Wang Fenglong had almost died because of the bad feng shui of his father's haunted house. After moving the old man's grave, his body was magically out of danger. He returned to the mountain village from the hospital. When Wang Yao heard about this from his parents, he was very interested in him. To be precise, he was interested in his illness. He did not expect to meet him today. Wang Fenglong's complexion was indeed not good. His face was yellow, his eyes were dull, and he walked lightly. At first glance, he did not have much strength. "Uncle." Wang Yao greeted him with a smile. He was an elder in the village. "Yes." Wang Fenglong responded weakly. When he approached, Wang Yao smelled a unique sour smell on his body. It was not the smell of sweat secreted by ordinary people in summer. If his body odor was abnormal, it meant that he was sick. The smell of his breath was also abnormal. There was a fishy smell in the scorching heat. Chapter 303. His spirit was not good, his yin and yang were out of balance, and his vitality was in deficit. Wang Yao knew something from the smell alone, but he couldn't make a more detailed judgment. He didn't rush forward. "Uncle, slow down," Wang Yao said. "Okay." Wang Fenglong smiled. Right now, his body was at its limit, even worse than a child's. He was once an expert in plowing several acres of land. Now, after walking a few dozen steps, his body felt weak and he had to sit down and rest. In the evening, Wang Yao received an invitation from Tian Yuantu. Tian Yuantu invited him to attend the trial sale ceremony of his new project in town tomorrow. Okay. Wang Yao thought about it and agreed. He hadn't been out for a while. August 8th in the Gregorian calendar and June 18th in the lunar calendar. Everything was good. Wang Yao took care of the herbal field as usual. He went up the mountain to practice. Then, he went to the clinic to water the plants in the small courtyard. Only then did he drive to town. The project developed by Tian Yuantu was in a mountain forest. He went north along a fork in the town. The mountain road was built according to the mountain. The cement was hardened and very spacious. It was not a problem for two cars to go side by side. There were many hills on both sides of the mountain road. There were some trees and rocks. It looked quite interesting. After walking for a short distance, he saw a building like a mountain gate. The words Heart Moon Lake were engraved on it. Hey, when did the name change? Wang Yao remembered that the name was not this when he came last time. Welcome. The security guard was very polite. Wang Yao saw a few cars in front of him along the way. The car turned along the mountain road for a distance. Then, he saw a lake between two hills. It looked like a crescent moon, green and clear. This lake, to be precise, was a big reservoir. Its name was New Moon Lake. On the edge of the lake, there was a group of villas built on the mountain. Wang Yao found a place to park the car. After getting out of the car, he found that many people had come. Judging from the cars parked outside, there should be a lot of rich people. Audi, Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Land Rover, Porsche, and other common luxury cars were parked. There were villas, clubhouses, restaurants, and a swimming pool near Crescent Lake. The design of these houses was also very beautiful. Although Lianshan County was small, there were still many rich people. The test sale ceremony was held in a clubhouse. This clubhouse was built according to the standards of a 4-star hotel. It had accommodations, dining, entertainment, meetings, and many other functions in one. In this mountain, it had an extraordinary style without losing its elegance. The sales were held in the style of a cocktail party on the second floor. The organizer, the Jiahui Group, was well prepared. Most of the people attending the banquet were dressed neatly. Wang Yao didn't think about this at all when he came here. He wore simple pants and a cotton short-sleeved t-shirt. He looked quite different among these people. Not only were there drinks and desserts, but there were also many different styles. Some of the people who came here knew each other, so they took this opportunity to communicate with each other. Wang Yao looked around and found a corner to sit down. Hey, you're here too. Wei Hai came over with a glass of champagne and smiled. Why? Do you want to buy a set here? Wang Yao smiled and asked. Finally, there was someone he knew and could talk to. Well, this location is good. It's close to a mountain and a river. I think the feng shui is also good. I'm going to buy a set here. Wei Hai smiled and said, Feng shui? You also know this? I don't know, but someone knows. When this place was built, Mr. Tian invited many masters. You have to know that things like construction are superstitious. This place is close to a mountain and a river. It's indeed a place with good feng shui. Wei Hai sat down next to Wang Yao. Not long after, the main character appeared. It was Tian Yuantu in a formal suit. The banquet was officially started. This was also the first time Wang Yao saw Tian Yuantu's speaking ability in such a public place. It was really quite good. Brother Tian is great. Yes, he's better than me in this aspect. Wei Hai smiled and drank a mouthful of wine. How is it? Do you like a house here? A middle-aged man who looked successful in his career smiled and hugged a young woman. Well, not bad. It's quite good. The woman's voice was very heavenly. It made people tremble when they heard it. Then I'll buy one, the middle-aged man said very casually. One should know that although this place was remote, the buildings were all independent villas. The design was also very good. They were all designed by famous design teams. Although this villa was not a lot, it was absolutely impossible to buy it without at least 2 million yuan. It might even be more expensive. This man said it so casually. At first glance, one could tell that he was a rich master. You are so nice, the woman said coquettishly. Then you have to thank me. The man's hand moved down and then fell on the plump peach buttocks. Damn, can't you change the occasion? Wei Hai was very unhappy when he saw this scene. When he spoke, his voice was slightly louder. The middle-aged man heard this and looked back. His eyes were unfriendly. Wow. After seeing the man's face, Wei Hai was a little surprised. He didn't look very good. His hair was already bald. It was a Mediterranean hairstyle. He wore a pair of gold-rimmed glasses. His face was slightly red. It was unknown whether it was because of the small amount of wine he had just drank or because of Wei Hai's words. However, the woman beside him had a good appearance and a good figure. Her chest was turbulent, and it felt like it was about to burst out at any moment. Wow, uncle! Wei Hai raised the wine glass in his hand at the man. Ha! Wang Yao smiled. He didn't expect that the man's personality had such a side. Forget it. Let's go somewhere else. The woman held the uncle's arm and walked to the other side. Hey, what do you think these girls are thinking? Eating a meal of youth and making money quickly. I can understand. Wang Yao smiled. However, this field is very fertile. The cattle are old. If they continue to plow, there will be an accident. Ah, what? Wei Hai didn't understand what Wang Yao meant. In middle age, the body's functions had begun to decline. Things between men and women were actually very energy-consuming. Appropriate exercise was good for the physical and mental health, but excessive exercise would overdraft the vitality. You mean that, uncle? Yes, Wang Yao replied. This banquet went very smoothly. Many people had the intention to order. In just one morning, 7 villas had been reserved. TSK. I didn't expect there to be so many rich people in Lianshan County. At noon, Tian Yuantu specially invited Wang Yao and a few others to eat together. At the same table was Professor Liu. He was also invited by Tian Yuantu and happened to be free. Didn't you look around just now? I looked around. This place is good. Of course. This place was designed by Professor Liu, Tian Yuantu said with a smile. If you like that house, I'll keep it for you. Thank you for your kindness, but I don't have such thoughts for the time being. Wang Yao smiled and waved his hand. What about President Wei? Me? That tea house is good, Wei Hai said with a smile. Hey, is there anyone in your village selling houses? Wei Hai suddenly asked Wang Yao. What? Wang Yao was stunned. Nowadays, villagers went to the city to buy houses. He had never heard of a city person buying a house in the countryside, let alone in the small mountain village where Wang Yao lived. Well, I really don't know. Help me keep an eye on this. Let me know if there are any. Wei Hai's words also made Tian Yuantu pay attention. With their current ability, it was easy for them to sell a house in the countryside, especially when they had a neighbor like Wang Yao. They could now see that if there were no special circumstances, Wang Yao would usually stay in the mountain village. They had earned enough money to find a place with a good environment to live. They also had a friend with excellent medical skills. This seemed to be a good choice. Well, can you help me think about it? Professor Liu also said. What? Wang Yao's brain couldn't wrap its head around it for a while. What's wrong with these people? When did that mountain village become so attractive? The pre-sale banquet of this building lasted for a day. In addition to free drinks, people who came to attend could even eat a free buffet with invitation ticket. The taste was good and there were a variety of dishes. Chapter 304. After lunch, Tian Yuantu arranged 2 rooms for them to rest for a while. Then, he personally showed them around. This lake is very good, Wang Yao said as they stood by the lake and looked at the green water. There were hills all around. Not only was there no sewage from enterprises, but there were also no villages around. Therefore, the water was almost unpolluted. Of course, there might be another source of pollution, which was the upscale residential community built by Tian Yuantu, called Xinyue Lake. Yes, in order to protect the lake, I specially added a small sewage treatment station, Tian Yuantu said. It specializes in dealing with the domestic sewage produced by the community. Oh, this kind of facility shouldn't be cheap, right? Nowadays, the country paid more and more attention to safety and environmental protection issues, which also led to the emergence of these 2 industries. The construction of environmental protection equipment and projects was a typical project with a large investment, slow results, or almost no benefit. Generally, unless forced, factories were very reluctant to participate in these projects. Not only did they not make money, but they also invested in them. It was the first time Wang Yao had heard of building a sewage treatment station in a community. It didn't cost much. In fact, the country has relevant policies to support this. What about the domestic sewage after treatment? Part of it flows into the sewage treatment station in town, and part of it is discharged into the lake, Tian Yuantu said. This was something that couldn't be helped. In fact, most of the sewage still had to be discharged into the lake. Even if it flowed into the sewage treatment system in town, it still had to be discharged into various rivers. However, the sewage discharged into the lake has definitely reached the standards required by the country. Moreover, such a large lake has a considerable self-regulating ability. If this villa is really near Hike, it will be worth a lot of money. Wei Hai sighed. If it was really in Hike, the price of this villa would at least be doubled. Haha, if it was really in Hike, I wouldn't be able to get this land, Tian Yuantu said. Although he also had projects in Hike and had an unusual relationship with the new Hike city secretary, in fact, his core was in Lianshan County and Jiaonan. On the contrary, he did not do too many projects in Hike City. There's a clinic here? Wang Yao stopped to take a closer look at a clinic that was not small. He could be considered a peer. Of course, we can't expect the people living here to drive to town or the county just because they have a cold or fever, right? This was a high-end residential area, and all the necessary facilities were very complete. Leisure, entertainment, catering, health care, and simple medical treatment. You're very thoughtful. Where's the doctor? They are all professional doctors who have been vetted. They just opened their doors here. If they don't have some real skills, they can't fool the people who live here. Soon, it was past 4 p.m. In the mountains, the air was much cooler. The surrounding hills were full of trees, and the vegetation coverage was very high. Although it was not as good as Nanshan Hill, where Wang Yao lived, it was still very comfortable to stay here. After informing Tian Yuantu, Wang Yao and Wei Hai were ready to leave. They came and took a look. It was that simple. When Wang Yao went back, he went in another direction. There was a road from the north to the south that ran through the whole lakeside mountain area. The road to go back was smoother than the road to go back. Under the shadow of the trees on the side of the road, Wang Yao was surprised to see a car parked under the shade of the trees in a relatively hidden position. The car was moving up and down rhythmically. TSK, 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 they are really in the mood for leisure. Wang Yao smiled and said to himself. Then, he drove away. In the swaying car, a fat bald man was struggling to move on the body of a graceful woman. His face was a little scary. You are great today, the woman said softly. Really? The man breathed heavily, like a tired ox that was plowing the field. The woman's words made him more excited than if he had taken drugs, although he probably knew that she was just acting. When a man reached this age, if he did not strengthen his physical activity, he would not be able to do it. Just like the man at this time, he could only rely on drugs to maintain his masculinity. What's going on? Wei Hai, who was driving the Land Rover behind Wang Yao, also noticed this scene. He stopped and lowered the side window. Unbearable hunger and thirst, he is in high spirits. Beep, beep, beep. He pressed the horn a few times. Push harder, he roared. Then, he stepped on the accelerator and the car sped out. Ha! Who is it? In the car, the sweaty man stopped moving and glanced outside angrily. Because of the trees, it was impossible to see clearly. Don't worry about them. Let's continue. Hurry. Okay, baby. Oh. The man's body suddenly stiffened. He felt a little difficult to breathe, as if something was stuck in his throat. It was very uncomfortable. Then, he panicked and wanted to lower the window to get some fresh air. Even the arm that he stretched out was a little trembling. Squeak, the window of the car was lowered. Some cool wind blew into the car. What are you doing? We will be seen by others, the woman said softly. Phew, phew. The man's breathing became heavier. He felt as if he was wearing shackles and carrying a mountain. What's going on? He began to feel dizzy and saw double. Hurry, hurry. Just as he was about to say something, he suddenly fell on the woman. Stop it. Get up, the woman said coquettishly. However, the man on top of her did not have any reaction. Hey, honey. She called him a few times. Seeing that he still did not respond, she took a closer look and found that he had fainted. She panicked. There was a scream. She wanted to push away the pile of fat on top of her, but he was too heavy. She could not push him away for a while. A car driving out of the mountains heard the scream and stopped subconsciously. Looking for the source of the sound, they saw a woman with disheveled clothes getting out of the car. She was holding a phone in her hand and had a panicked expression on her face. What's going on? In this world, there were always some people who did not mind if things were not big enough. There were especially many such people in China. It might have a lot to do with the large population. Therefore, cars stopped one after another. The windows were lowered. The people inside picked up their phones. They did not call for an ambulance. Instead, they took photos and videos to record this rare moment. To put it lightly, they were gloating. To put it seriously, they were watching a person die without helping. However, there were still good people in society. Someone made a phone call. Soon, a car came from the mountains. The person who hurried out of the car was the doctor who opened the clinic in the villa area. He came to the front of the car and was stunned. Good heavens, he was naked and had a body full of fat. The doctor understood the situation as soon as he saw the situation. He stretched out his hand and felt that the man was still breathing. After checking with the equipment he brought, he immediately performed emergency treatment. Whoosh! Wang Yao's car had just driven out of the mountains and onto the asphalt road when he saw the ambulance whizzing past him. It was heading toward the mountains. What's going on? F***ck, it can't be? Wei Hai, who was following behind him, was also stunned when he saw this. He thought to himself, could it be because of my voice? It should not be so coincidental. On the side of the mountain road, Under the treatment of the doctor, the man finally woke up. The ambulance also rushed over and took him away. The big Benz was left parked on the side of the road. The good-looking woman was still in shock. Therefore, it was not impossible to have sex, but it was risky. One had to be cautious with passion. Wang Yao had just returned home when he received a call from Wei Hai. He then learned about the coincidence in the mountains. What a coincidence, what a coincidence! He could not help but sigh. Actually, what you did was murder in disguise, he joked. I just shouted. His physical quality and mental quality are too poor, Wei Hai replied with a smile. The two chatted for a while and then hung up. Something that no one had expected happened. This incident quickly spread to the internet. There were photos and videos. Then, it spread like wildfire. Happy Heart Lake became an instant hit. This was something that most people did not expect. The next day, there were suddenly more people than on the first day. The number of people was several times more than on the first day. They could not even find a place to park their cars. This made Tian Yuan very happy. Chapter 305. No matter what, it was a good thing that so many people came. Some of them even came from Hike City. Some of them had the intention to buy a house. However, most of them just came to look at the lake and mountains here. They just took it as relaxation and entertainment. Now that the news was so advanced, people would go to any place that had a little bit of uniqueness. Whenever there was a holiday, people would go there to take photos, even if there were a few blooming mountain flowers. The scenery here was really good. It wasn't even a Saturday or Sunday yet. It was estimated that by the weekend, this place would become a place for many people to visit. In a club in Hike City. Wow, what a rare guest, young Masterly. How come you have time to come to hike? I really have something to do. Li Xiaoyang, whose face was still slightly pale, felt that his stomach was full of anger, but he could not find a place to vent it. It was very difficult for him to come out this time. His father originally did not allow him to leave G City. After a lot of persuasion, he finally got the help of his grandmother, who loved him the most, to let him go. He also had to make a promise that he would not cause trouble outside. Of course, he came here to look for Wang Yao. In fact, he was not sure that the crimes he suffered in G City were because of Wang Yao. However, Wang Yao was very suspicious. Therefore, he came here to look for him first and communicate with him properly. If he was sure, then, I'm here to ask for your help, Li Xiaoyang said as he lit a cigarette. Help? Tell me what it is. As long as I can do it, I will not refuse. Looking for someone. Looking for someone? Who? This person is Wang Yao. He is in Lianshan County. Li Xiaoyang took out a photo from his pocket and handed it to the other party. Lianshan? The bald young man sitting opposite Li Xiaoyang touched his bald head and stared at the kind face in the photo. Young Master Li, I have another question. Why are you looking for him? I want to ask him something. The young man did not say anything after hearing that. He knew that the person in the photo had probably offended the rich young master in front of him. There are hundreds of thousands of people in a county. It is not easy to find one person, the young man said with a smile. He and the rich young master knew each other more because of interest. They could be considered as friends in another way. As usual, Li Xiaoyang took out a paper bag and threw it on the table. The young man opposite him picked it up and opened it, and the smile on his face became even brighter. I'll give you the other half after it's done. No problem. Leave it to me, the young man said with a smile. I haven't been to hike for a long time. Shall I take you out to have some fun? Sure. Li Xiaoyang smiled. He was bored to death in G City. On one hand, he came out to look for Wang Yao. On the other hand, he wanted to relax. After receiving the money, he naturally had to act quickly. In fact, it was not difficult to find a person in a county. The network system was so developed now. As long as there was an acquaintance in the relevant department, he could find it on the computer. However, to find the specific address, he had to be a local. Just a bit more, just a bit more. Looking at the system interface in front of him, Wang Yao was just a little bit away from leveling up. However, as time went by, the number of missions he completed was relatively small. However, the experience he gained from treating patients and refining medicine accumulated over time, resulting in the current effect. On this day, Wang Yao found that the spring water on the mountain seemed to be a lot more than usual. There was a pond in his array. The area was not big, but the water in it was always full. He thought of a clever way to divert the excess mountain spring water. At the same time, it could also play the role of watering the herbs. Although the mountain spring water was not as effective as the ancient spring water, it was much better than ordinary water. I should plant some fruits on this mountain. Wang Yao looked at a certain place outside. The framework and support of the spiritual array could not be moved. Some idle places could be planted, but there could not be too many. The ginseng under the shade grew quite well. In Wang Yao's opinion, growing on this mountain for 1 year was at least equivalent to growing in the deep mountains and forests for 8 to 10 years. Gathering the aura from all directions in this mountain. This was not just a saying. In the afternoon, Wang Yao's sister returned home from Dianan. As soon as she got home, she rushed straight to the mountain. At the same time, Wang Yao was thinking about where to plant some fruit. Woof, woof, woof. San Xian did not seem to welcome Wang Ru, a frequent visitor. Go away, stupid dog. Wang Yao heard the sound and looked over. Seeing that it was his sister, he did not say much and continued to do his own things. Look at what your sister brought you. Wang Ru took out a few boxes from her hand. What? Wang Yao was stunned. Why don't you guess? It's so mysterious. Wang Yao took it and opened it. It turned out to be seeds. Herb seeds? Correct. Can you guess what kind of seeds they are? Wang Ru asked with a smile. Well, it's really hard to guess. Wang Yao took it and looked carefully. This is dendrobium. This is easy to recognize. This is lotus. This is Gastrodia elata. This is... Wang Yao looked at the last one. Well, this is a wormwood. Wow, you guessed it right. Wang Ru was stunned. The first few are easy to guess, but the last one is a wormwood on snow. How did you get it? What's wrong? This kind of medicine is highly toxic. It's poisonous. Wang Ru was shocked when she heard that. Yes, this is medicine, and it has a miraculous effect on pain caused by internal and external injuries. If the dosage is not controlled well, it will cause a serious toxic reaction and even kill people, Wang Yao said. This kind of medicine is controlled by the state. The quality of these seeds is good. Where did you get them? Wang Yao could judge the quality of these plant seeds with the knowledge he had mastered. He was very curious. In the current social atmosphere and market environment, such good things were difficult to get, unless they were worth a lot. Was the folk customs in southern Yunnan much simpler? I asked the other party's comrade to get them during the exchange. I know you are good at this. There are a lot of unique herbs in southern Yunnan, but I have seen some of them in your place, so I didn't bring them. So I brought these. How is it? Are you touched? Thank you, sister. I am a little touched, Wang Yao said with a smile. He really didn't expect that his sister would bring him such a special gift. Hurry up, Wang Ru said. What? Plant them. I want to see how to grow herbs. What's there to see? Wang Yao said with a smile. He chose a suitable place, dug a hole in the ground and sprinkled the seeds in. Then, he filled it with soil and watered it. It's finished. It's finished. Wang Ru was stunned. It's that simple? What do you think? This is about growing herbs, not embroidering. Of course, it is essential to take care of it in the future, Wang Yao said with a smile. Does that mean I can do it too? Wang Ru asked. You? Wang Yao was stunned. Forget it, Wang Ru said. Wang Ru stayed on the mountain for a while. Then, the two siblings went down the mountain together. After returning home, the family sat together. Wang Ru talked about some interesting things about her trip to Dianan. Among them, she talked about the incident where she used the prolongation pill that Wang Yao gave her to save someone's life. You don't say. Your elixir is really useful. That person was about to die, but after taking your elixir, he recovered in a very short time. Do you still have more of that elixir? Wang Ru was very excited when she mentioned this. Why? Wang Ru asked. The colleague who went with me asked me where I got it and how much it costs. How much? In order to refine those elixirs, Wang Yao had used up all the medicinal herbs and exchange points he had accumulated. Moreover, based on the current situation, he would not be able to refine this kind of elixir for a long time. Sigh. He sighed. This kind of pill can't be measured by money. What do you mean? If I sell this pill for 10 million yuan per pill, there may be people who will buy it. Do you believe it? What? His parents and sister were stunned. Yao, are you serious? Zhang Xiuying was surprised. It's fake. Wang Yao smiled. But this pill is very precious. You have to cherish it and use it at the right time. He also explained in this way. Chapter 306. Oh, hearing their son say so, they were slightly relieved. If a pill was so valuable, they wouldn't dare to keep it at home. Sister, what's wrong with the person you saved? I don't know. Wang Ru shook her head. I'm not a doctor. I just saw that he was old and suddenly fell to the ground. It seemed that he was dying. I happened to have the pill you gave me, so I gave it to him. Later, he came to me to express his gratitude and wanted to give me money, but I refused, Wang Ru said. You didn't ask about the medicine? I asked. He said he was willing to pay a lot of money for the formula of the medicine. I said the medicine was given to me by someone and I got it by accident. Don't worry. I won't sell you. That's good. Wang Yao smiled. The whole family gathered together happily and harmoniously. After dinner, it started to drizzle. Are you still going up the mountain? Yes, I'm used to it. His family was used to Wang Yao's way of doing things, so they didn't say anything. Today? Wang Yao looked up at the sky when he arrived at the top of the mountain. He was afraid it would rain for the next few days. The rain started to get heavier in the middle of the night. It fell on the window and made a pitter-patter sound. The mountain in the rain was particularly quiet. San Xian suddenly stood up from his hut and stared at the mountain. What's wrong? Wang Yao heard the noise outside. He put on his clothes and got out of bed. It was dark outside. The continuous rain stretched between heaven and earth. He couldn't see the end of it. There was nothing unusual. At least, he couldn't see it. However, San Xian's abnormal reaction made him know that something must have happened. San Xian walked out of the kennel. Wang Yao followed behind him with an umbrella in his hand. San Xian stopped after walking for a short distance. What is this? Wang Yao looked at the pond in front of him. This was an extremely important part of the spirit-gathering battle array. He had drawn the spring water from the mountain and poured it into the pond. At this time, the spring water flowed from the mountain and flowed continuously. It then flowed out from one side, through the trees and the herbal field, and then flowed away and merged into the mountain stream. Here? Wang Yao took a closer look. Under the night sky, the spring water was still exceptionally clear, but something was bubbling out from the bottom of the pool. Spring water? A spring burst out from the bottom of the pond. That's strange. Wang Yao said with a smile. You were barking just now because of this? He pointed to the pond and asked San Xian. Woof. The dog barked in response. It's okay. Wang Yao reached out and rubbed the dog's head. He carefully looked at the spring at the bottom of the pond. It was not big, about the size of a child's fist. Not bad. He smiled and returned to the house. Lying on the bed, he thought about it carefully. It should be the spirit-gathering array on the mountain that began to affect the landscape. It rained all night and stopped the next morning, but the weather was still gloomy. Wang Yao woke up early. The spring water in his eyes was still gurgling. At this moment it looked exceptionally clear. In a bar in Hike City. "What's wrong, Mr. Li? Are you not satisfied with the girl yesterday?" the bald young man asked with a smile. "Ah, don't mention it." Li Xiaoyang waved his hand. Thinking about it made him want to cry. The girl last night was beautiful and had a good figure. If it had been in the past, he would have pounced on her and conquered her overnight. However, ever since the accident, his uncle's words had been echoing in his ears. "If it doesn't work, I'll cut it off." Could a man still be called a man if he lost the most important organ? Therefore, he endured, and held back a bellyful of anger. "Have you found out who that person is?" "Yes, I originally planned to arrange for someone to go there today." "Today? Rain or shine," Li Xiaoyang said. "Okay, I'll listen to you," the bald young man said with a smile. He picked up a phone and dialed. "What kind of grudge does this person have with you? Why are you in such a hurry?" "I have something to ask him in person," Li Xiaoyang said. When it was close to noon, the two young men drove onto the cement road in the mountain. "Damn, where is this place? The GPS can't even guide us." "It's already noon. Let's find a place to eat first." "Okay." The two young men didn't walk for long before they saw a restaurant. They stopped the car and ordered a few dishes. "Boss, I'd like to inquire about a place." "Go ahead." The young man said the name of the mountain village. "Oh, this village is not far ahead. Are you here to visit?" "Yes, I'm looking for someone." "Who is it?" the boss asked. I think there's a person called Wang Yao." "Wang Yao?" The boss was stunned. "Boss, do you know him?" "No." The boss shook his head. "You two can eat first. If you need anything, just shout." "Okay." After the boss finished speaking, he went to the backyard. After thinking for a while, he picked up the phone and called Wang Yao. Wang Yao had come to eat here several times. He was a regular customer and took good care of his business. The two young men just now had cigarettes in their mouths and tattoos on their arms. They didn't look like good people. Were they looking for trouble? "Okay, I got it. Thank you." After receiving the phone call, Wang Yao packed up and went down the mountain. The two guys who didn't look like good people were asking about him and had already arrived at the village. Although he didn't know what their purpose was, it was most likely not something good. "Hey, didn't you say you're not coming down?" Because it was still raining outside, Wang Yao had just called home and said he wouldn't go down the mountain for dinner. Since some people came, Zhang Xiuying naturally had to ask more. "There may be guests coming later," Wang Yao said with a smile. "Guests? What guest? Are they coming to eat at home?" "Nope." After lunch, some time passed. At about 1 o'clock, there was a knock on the door. It wasn't a soft sound. They were coming. Wang Yao went out and opened the door. As expected, he saw two young men, both of medium build, in their late 20s. They were good-looking, but their expressions were not good. They had cigarettes in their mouths and tattoos on their arms. One was a hairtail, the other was a toad. "Are you Wang Yao?" The tone was a little harsh. "Yes," Wang Yao said calmly. "Okay, bro, are you free?" "What's the matter?" "I want to buy you a drink." "Sorry." "Okay, let's go." The two men stared at Wang Yao carefully and turned to leave. They came this time to confirm whether the person they were looking for was in this village. Their purpose had been achieved when they found him. "Wait, who asked you to come?" Wang Yao stopped the two men. "Well, you'll know soon." Wang Yao smiled and walked them to the entrance of the alley with an umbrella. "Bro, you don't have to walk us," the two young men said with a smile. "Is this guy stupid? Doesn't he know he's in trouble?" The car stopped at the entrance of the village. As soon as the two men got into the car, they heard a muffled sound. The car's tire burst. What's going on? The two men got out of the car and saw a steel nail stuck in the tire. It was stuck in the side wall of the tire. It was obvious that someone had done it on purpose. Who? One of the young men immediately became angry. Who did it? He looked around. The closest ones were a pig and a duck staring at him. The next one was Wang Yao. At this time, he was more than 30 feet away from the car. The two of them looked like two idiots in the rain. In fact, the tire was punctured by Wang Yao. He threw the iron nail into the tire with a flick of his wrist. Since he had come to find trouble, how could he leave so easily? This was not in line with the development of the plot and his personal style. Damn, this is bad luck. The two men had to get out of the car to change the tire. At this time, it was still raining. Wang Yao looked up at the sky. This rain should be heavier. Whoosh! God seemed to respond to his call. The rain became heavier in a very short time. Thank you. Wang Yao held an umbrella and watched the two men change the tire. Tisk, tsk, tsk. It's easy to catch a cold in the rain like this. Hey you, come over and hold an umbrella for us. One of the men wiped his face and shouted at Wang Yao. In just a moment, they were soaked by the suddenly heavy rain. The two men, who had bad tempers, were naturally angry. Coincidentally, Wang Yao was next to them. Ha! Wang Yao held the umbrella and laughed. Hey, are you looking for a beating? One of the young men rushed toward Wang Yao with the tire-changing tool. He wanted to teach the young man, who was holding an umbrella and watching them, a lesson. You are looking for trouble here. You are bold. What? Bang! Before the young man could get close to Wang Yao, he felt that his chest and abdomen were hit by a huge force. Then, he flew out and hit the car behind him with a clang. Immediately, a severe pain came from his chest and abdomen. It was as if his internal organs were twisted together. He groaned in pain in the rain. His companion next to him was scared silly. What's the situation? Who asked you to come? Wang Yao asked this question for the second time. Damn you! The young man came to his senses and took out a knife from his waist. Bang! He hit the car again. Like his companion, the side of the car was directly hit into a dent. Do you want me to ask again? No, we will talk. They were just ordinary gangsters. They were good at fighting, but they were terrified when they met a tough guy. Wang Yao's smiling face, coupled with his ability that they couldn't understand, made him look like a smiling tiger in their eyes. Under his smiling face there was terrible violence. Zhao Sun? Wang Yao had no impression of this name. Where is he? Hike! Hiss! Wang Yao frowned slightly. He had no impression of this person. He didn't remember any anxiety with him. Why did he ask you to come to me? I don't know. What? Wang Yao picked up a brick by the roadside and crushed it. Seeing this, the two temporarily forgot their pain. Chapter 307. He was asked by someone else. He had to hurry up and explain this matter. Someone else? Who? We really don't know. It seems that the person came from G. As soon as he heard this place, Wang Yao immediately thought of the young master. After all, he had only been to G once in the past few years and taught the young master a lesson without leaving his name. He didn't expect the young master to find this place so quickly. Well, your relationship is quite strong. Big brother, can we go now? The two young men asked carefully. Go? Where are we going? It didn't take long for the two young men to be invited by the town's police station for an exchange. When the two young men saw the police car, their intestines turned green with regret. They originally thought it was a very simple matter. They didn't expect it to be so troublesome. Not only did they get beaten up, but the police also came. Wang Yao called Wang Mingbao and asked him to inform his friends in the town's police station and ask the two young men to see if they could find out anything else. On the other end of the phone, when Wang Mingbao heard that someone had come to the village to cause trouble for his brother, he was furious and immediately called his friend. Then, the two young men who were sent to the police station were in trouble. Robbery with a knife? We didn't do that. How did this become a vicious criminal offense? One had to know that fighting and robbery with a knife were two completely different natures. No, we were wronged. The two young men were about to cry. It was not like this. No, you didn't. Look at what this is. Randomly, the police handling the case directly dropped a video. The content of the video was the scene of a young man threatening Wang Yao with a knife. This? They were dumbfounded. No, the one at the back. They were the victims. Do you think that the country's vigorous development of the new village is a joke? These surveillance cameras have recorded the evidence of your crime. Police comrade, we are the victims. Victims? The police handling the case was stunned. The two young men obviously didn't have any experience in interrogation. They didn't often commit crimes. After some questioning, they spilled the beans from a bamboo tube. Soon, Wang Yao learned about the situation. Zhao Senator. Not only was Wang Yao unfamiliar with this name, but they were also unfamiliar with it. After all, this was a small town. This person? Wang Yao directly called Wei Hai and asked him to inquire about it. It didn't take long for Wei Hai to learn about Zhao Senator. He was a well-known figure in the underworld in Hike City. To put it bluntly, he was a gangster with no fixed occupation. After hearing this news, Wang Yao began to think about how to deal with the trouble that might come next. Obviously, the other party would not be finished so easily. How should we deal with them? Should we lock them up for a few days? No need. Let them go back and let them tell Zhao Sun and the young master from Ji. Wang Mingbao then called his friend and asked the two young men to pay some fines and write a promise. Then, he let them go. Their car was still in the mountain village. They were frightened and didn't want the car. They directly took a taxi back to Hike City. What? Arrested by the police? Are you stupid? I asked you to confirm the location of his house. What did you do? Did you threaten him? After hearing this news, Zhao Sun was also very angry. His subordinates were getting worse and worse, but when it came to eating and drinking, they were quite good at it. Accident, boss. It was definitely an accident. Okay. I got it. Zhao Sun waved his hand impatiently. Directly inform the police to arrest them. It seems that the other party is not a good person. Should I remind young Master Li? Later, Zhao Sun found Li Xiaoyang and told him the situation that his two subordinates had inquired about. Young Master Li, that person seems to have some connections. Forgive me for saying that this is Hike, not Ji. A strong dragon can't suppress a local snake. You have to think carefully before you do anything. Don't worry. I just want to talk to him. What strong dragon and local snake? Li Xiaoyang waved his hand indifferently. It was still raining outside the window. That night Li Xiaoyang made a call to someone. He was a rich young master, but he was not stupid. Although he didn't care about what Zhao Sun said on the surface, he knew that this was not Ji. He had to have scruples when doing things in Ji, let alone here. The first thing he had to ensure was his own safety. With his current sick body, even a junior high school student could bully him. In the mountain village, 2 people and a car came in the evening. After they fixed the car with a flat tire, they immediately left without the slightest hesitation. At night, in the herbal field, the seeds of the herbs that Wang Yao had just planted quietly sprang out. San Xian, who was lying in his kennel, stared there for a while. The rain came and went at night. The next day, the sky was still gloomy. In the medical center at the foot of the mountain, the grapes in the corner had borne more than a dozen bunches of grape. They were green and pleasing. A few days ago they were just a little bit. After a few days they were already green and purple. They are growing quite fast. Wang Yao said with a smile. In the morning, Wei Hai drove to the medical center to ask about Zhao's senator. He specifically asked his friend to inquire about him. That guy's reputation was not very good. He thought that he should come. Maybe Wang Yao would need his help. Not for the time being. If there is, I will tell you when the time comes. After listening to Wei Hai's words, Wang Yao was quite moved. Zhao Sun is not a good person. I asked someone to inquire about him again. He has done a lot of bad things in Hike. Okay, I see. Thank you. He drank tea. It was raining outside. With a cup of tea, the two friends chatted for a while. Would you like to have lunch at my house? Okay, sorry to bother you. It's fine. Wei Hai went to Wang Yao's house to have a meal. Wang Yao's mother cooked a table of dishes. Mr. Li. Brother Hao, I'll have to trouble you this time. It's my pleasure. Take the money and do the work. This was Zheng Hao's principle. Yesterday, he received a call from a rich young master. Today, he came to Hike with his most capable subordinate. The business they provided was full-time thugs. It was professional. Come with me tomorrow. No problem. Who is the other party? A young man. Young man? What kind of description is that? Zheng Hao was slightly stunned. He did not like to do things without preparation. Of course, he could still try if he had enough money. He had cooperated with the rich young master in front of him more than once. The other party was very generous. It was not the first time they came to Hike, but their impression of the city was not very good. It was because they had encountered a wall here. Let's go. Call me if you need anything. Okay. Wang Yao sent Wei Hai off. The sky was very gloomy, as if it was night. It was going to rain heavily. Wang Yao held an umbrella. He did not care about the mud and went up Nanshan Hill. In the rain, the trees on the hill and the herbs in the herbal field were green and glistening. He also noticed that the seeds of the herbs that had just been planted had sprouted. Not bad. They are growing quite fast. The next morning, the rain stopped, but the sky was still gloomy. Wang Yao came down from the hill. He knew that the matter was not over. The two guys had gone back. The person in G would definitely come back. He did not want to bring trouble to his parent. Mr. Li, who are you looking for this time in such a remote place? On a remote road, a limousine was speeding along. TSK. I didn't expect that he would be in such a valley. The car arrived at the mountain village. Go further. Huh. I'll go out for a while. Wang Yao held an umbrella and went out of the house. As soon as he walked to the entrance of the alley, he saw a car coming from not far away. It was coming. Hey, stop in front. The car stopped and the window was rolled down. As the window was rolled down, Li Xiaoyang and Wang Yao's eyes met in the rain. Damn, it's this guy. Hey, he looks good. I didn't hit him hard enough last time. Hello, Wang Yao. Hello. Wang Yao stood in the rain and smiled. Chapter 308. Li Xiaoyang didn't know why, but when he saw Wang Yao holding an umbrella so calmly in the rain, he felt very angry. Damn it. I've suffered for more than a month. I've vomited and had diarrhea. I've been hospitalized twice. I can't touch women. My life is worse than death. This guy, who is most likely to be the culprit, is actually living freely in this mountain village. At this moment, he even had the intention to kill. Get in the car. Let's talk somewhere else. Or should we go to your house? Li Xiaoyang almost gritted his teeth. Anger hurts the liver. What's there to talk about? Wang Yao said with a smile. A gust of wind blew and the rain fell. What happened in Ji was done by you? Li Xiaoyang's tone also changed. There was obvious anger in his voice. Since you're here, why do you ask so much? Good, very good. Brother Hao, I'll teach you, Li Xiaoyang said. Okay, to what extent? Just don't kill him. The car door opened. Jing Hao and his men got out of the car with knives in their hands. Wang Yao looked up at the sky. Is there any law? Law? Ha ha. The two men rushed forward. Thump, 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 thump. They came quickly and left even faster. They flew out upside down and fell into the mountain village river beside the road. It had been raining continuously for the past few days. The water level was relatively high, and the water flow was relatively rapid. The two men drank a lot of water and spent a lot of effort to climb out of the river. Li Xiaoyang, who was sitting in the car, was dumbfounded. How could this be? Things did not develop according to the plot he had expected. According to the normal script, Wang Yao should have been beaten to the ground and begged for mercy. However, the two men just now were beaten in the blink of an eye. How could he have the nerve to say that he was a professional? Was the person in front of him a kung fu master? Come out and talk to me. No. Wang Yao pulled him out of the car window and threw him to the ground. The rain from the sky and the mud on the ground stained the rich man's expensive clothes like a canvas made of children's scribbles. Huff, huff. The two fellows who had crawled out of the river stood to the side, panting heavily. Similarly, they had yet to recover from their shock. F***ck, this is a scam. They did not expect that they would kick an iron plate this time. The other party was actually a martial artist. Hey, you're doing fine in G-City. Why did you come here to look for excitement? What's the point? Wang Yao held an umbrella and looked down at the young master, who looked like a drowned rat and a stray dog. He looked down on this kind of person from the bottom of his heart. It was understandable that he had a background, but using his background to bully the good and run amok was unacceptable. It made people feel very uncomfortable. Li Xiaoyang lay on the ground. His face, stomach, knees, and palms were all in pain. When he came out of the car window, he was not prepared at all. His whole body was almost flat on the ground. He was so angry that he really wanted to kill someone. If he had a knife in his hand, he would rush up and stab him without hesitation. Why don't you wait here? Wang Yao then took out his phone and called the police. Whoosh! It started to rain heavily. Li Xiaoyang and the two men he invited were drenched in the rain. During this time, Wang Yao also poked the two men a few times. They only felt that their chests and abdomens were pierced by a steel bar. It was very painful. The police car came late. It was the same policeman who came last time. He handcuffed the three of them and brought them back to the police station without any explanation. You came here to look for trouble on such a rainy day. Are you crazy? In the car, the policeman who handled the case was not in a good mood. Sir, we didn't do anything. Look at the situation. We are obviously the ones who are at a disadvantage. It was not the first time that Zheng Hao came to the police station. He was more experienced in this aspect. Let's talk slowly when we enter the police station later. Since the main character had appeared, Wang Yao was not going to let it go. He made a few phone calls. This time, this rich young master came to Lianshan County to look for trouble. Even if he did not die, he would be beaten to a pulp. Young Master Li, quickly find someone to mediate the situation. Zheng Hao was still calm. He knew that there was something fishy going on. This time it was a failure. The rich young master next to him did not even find out the background of the other party. He rashly came to look for him. As a result, he kicked an iron plate with thorns. However, the phone had been confiscated by the police. He had to go to the police station to make a call. In the police station, their identities were quickly found out. Wow, 2 repeat offenders? Deliberately hurting people and blackmailing them. What's the situation? What are you doing here? The police were interrogating them at the police station. In the mountain village, Wang Yao went back home with an umbrella in his hand. Because it was raining, there were not many people on the street. They did not see what had just happened. However, there were surveillance cameras on the street, so the incident was still seen by someone. Tisk, tsk, tsk. Good skill. It's a lot worse. Wang Yao looked at the system panel. More than half of the time had passed, but the latest task was less than 1/3 completed. This requirement was a bit harsh for people who were hundreds of miles away. If it's really not possible, I'll have to ask Wei Hai and the others for help. But how should I say this? Borrow money. In this realistic society, this was undoubtedly a very difficult thing to do, even between family and friends. I'm really out of money. Sorry. It's okay. Fang Jingyuan hung up the phone. What's wrong? His wife asked. Nothing. Why don't we sell the house? I'll think of another way. In fact, they still had some money in their hand. This time, they were preparing to go to Jing. If they could meet a doctor who could cure their daughter's illness, they would stay there for a while. That way, the expenses would be higher. There's another person, but I haven't contacted him for some years. I'll give it a try. It was not easy for him to get the person's phone number. Hello. Wei Hai hesitated for a moment before he picked up the call from a familiar number. Hello. Fang Jingyuan? Wei Hai had an impression of this name. He used to be a business partner. He could still talk to him, but that was a few years ago. Borrow money? After hearing the purpose of the phone call, he smiled. They had not seen each other for many years. A phone call specifically to borrow money. Sorry. He refused without hesitation. It's okay. Fang Jingyuan sighed. Just as he was about to hang up the phone, Wei Hai asked another question. What do you want to borrow money for? To treat my daughter's illness. Ah, is it serious? It's very serious, the other party said. I know a doctor. If you need, I can help you ask, Wei Hai said. Really? Thank you so much. Just like that, he pulled in another potential patient for Wang Yao. Wei Hai called Wang Yao and explained the situation. After hearing Wang Yao's agreement, he called Fang Jingyuan back. Fang Jingyuan was very anxious. After asking about the location, he directly drove his daughter there. The road from Haik to Lianshan County was very wide, but the road to the mountain village was more difficult. The mountain village? Once on the road, Fang Jingyuan was a little hesitant. In order to treat his daughter's strange illness, he had sought out the masters who lived in seclusion in the mountain village, but the effect was not ideal. Moreover, he was repulsed by those who practiced medicine without a license. Jingyuan, are we going to the right place? They stopped halfway to ask for directions and continued to move forward. Finally, they arrived at the mountain village where Wang Yao lived. This is it. On the way, they asked for directions again. They drove all the way to the southernmost part of the village and saw the appearance of the newly built clinic. It was very beautiful. This was the first impression of people who saw the building from the outside. Here. Yes, here. He knocked on the wooden door and pushed the door open to enter. The layout of the trees in the courtyard was also very delicate. It's so beautiful, Fang Jingyuan's daughter whispered. It is very beautiful. The layout is very exquisite. Just looking at the house and the courtyard, Fang Jingyuan's previous worries were reduced a lot. After all, the person who could decorate the house and the courtyard so delicately should have good medical skills. However, when he entered the house and saw Wang Yao's young face, his previous worries increased a lot. Is such a young doctor reliable? Chapter 309. Hello, is Dr. Wang Yao here? Fang Jingyuan asked softly. Yes, I am. Please come in, Wang Yao said with a smile. He's so young. He doesn't look much older than me, the girl thought. What kind of illness could he treat at such a young age? Wang Yao had been observing them since they came in. The couple's complexion was not good. It should be caused by excessive fatigue. After a period of rest, they would improve. As for the teenage girl, her face was pale, and there were some red spots on her neck. She walked weakly and her breathing was uneven. It was obvious that she was sick. This is my daughter. She has a strange illness. Please take a look at her, Dr. Wang. Okay, sit down. The girl was wearing a long-sleeved shirt. There were also red spots on her hands. It felt like she had been pricked by a needle. The blood didn't seep out of her skin. Give me your hand. I'll take your pulse. Poison. The girl was poisoned. The poison was in her blood and had invaded all parts of her body. Her liver and kidneys were seriously damaged. Dizziness, weakness, loss of appetite, vomiting easily. Wang Yao listed a few symptoms. Yes, Fang Jingyuan said. The symptoms the doctor described were the symptoms his daughter showed after her illness got worse. How long has it been? More than a year. More than a year was not a short time. The poison had to be cured and the damaged body had to be repaired. The poison had gone deep into the organs. The effect of ordinary herbs was limited. It was best to use licorice root. However, licorice roots, Wang Yao looked up at them. There is poison in her blood. It has circulated throughout her body with the blood. It will take some time and cost a lot of money to treat it. Can you treat it? Fang Jingyuan immediately understood the meaning of Wang Yao's words. He was very surprised and doubtful. After all, he had been to so many hospitals and seen so many specialists. They were all helpless. How could this young man, who looked less than 30 years old, say something like this? How could he not be surprised? I can cure it. Wang Yao's tone was calm and confident. Su Xiaoshue's illness was so serious that the poison had seeped into her internal organs. He could even try and cure her. This girl's illness was nothing compared to his. He didn't dare to say that he was 100% sure, but he was 90% sure. Then, how much will it cost? Fang Jingyuan asked after a moment of hesitation. He was actually worried in his heart. He was worried that this young man in front of him was just a scammer who would catch a sick person and take advantage of them. How about this? I'll prescribe some medicine for her to take and see how effective it is. As for the price? Wang Yao quickly made a list of the herbs. Angelica, Ganoderma lucidum, ginseng, these were what he had used on Wei Hai, Su Xiaoxue, and the others. The effect was to consolidate the corporeity. Although the effect was not as significant as the regather soup, the effect was still very good. Wang Yao weighed the herbs one by one and wrote down the decoction method for them. The effect of this medicine is to consolidate the corporeity. If you think it is effective, come back in 3 days, Wang Yao said bluntly. As for the price, it was only a few hundred yuan. He couldn't make money by relying on these herbs alone. Moreover, he didn't plan to make money. Thank you. Fang Jingyuan took the medicine and left. Wang Yao didn't say anything. He could see that they still had doubts in their hearts, just like most people who met Wang Yao for the first time. Yes. The girl's illness couldn't be delayed. If it was delayed any longer, her illness would be incurable. After leaving the small courtyard, Fang Jingyuan's wife asked, Jingyuan, this doctor is so young. Is he reliable? Let's give it a try. He hadn't contacted Wei Hai for a long time. However, he thought that Wei Hai didn't have the need or reason to harm him. Anyway, it was only a few hundred yuan. Somewhere in Ji what? She was arrested? Li Yaosheng of the Li family was stunned by the sudden news. Where is she? Hi. Bang. He hung up the phone. Hello, Dad. On the other end of the phone, Li Xiaoyang heard the busy tone before he could finish the call. Sigh, the old man must be angry again. He had been locked up in the police station for a day and had been interrogated 3 times. He had been pampered since he was young. He had never seen such a situation. After being threatened and intimidated, he had said some things that should be said and shouldn't be said. Now that he could finally make a phone call, the old man on the other end was angry again. However, he knew that his father wouldn't leave him alone. After he made the call, he would most likely be released soon. It wasn't a big deal to begin with. At this time, he didn't have the slightest self-reflection or guilt. Instead, His hatred for Wang Yao in his heart became stronger. Wang, I'm not done with you. When I get out, see how I'll deal with you. Li Xiaoyang, come out. No way, you still want to interrogate me? It was almost evening. It was still cool in the mountain village. What's the matter with you? It's only been a few days, and 2 groups of people are looking for trouble with you. Did you get into trouble outside? Because of Wang Yao's matter, Wang Mingbao had specially rushed back from Lianshan County. 2 groups of people, 1 group. Then, Wang Yao briefly described how he had a grudge with Li Xiaoyang when he was in Ji. Scumbag? Yes, 100%, Wang Yao said. Then your grudge is worth it. I think you were too lenient. You should have castrated him at that time, Wang Mingbao said. That's illegal, Wang Yao said with a smile. So, what you did was not illegal. Well, strictly speaking, it was illegal, but I couldn't help it, Wang Yao said. Every man had thought about getting rid of the evil and bringing peace to the good. However, there were very few who really put their thoughts into action. While the 2 of them were talking, Wang Mingbao's mobile phone rang. Hello, what? Delay again? Okay, thank you, bro. That young master's relationship is quite strong. Didn't he call to plead for mercy? Wang Mingbao said. Really? His relationship is quite strong. He can actually reach out to hike, Wang Yao said with a smile. However, this matter was not over. The other party had already come to his house. This time, he had to teach him a lesson. It was a lesson that he would never forget in his life, just like that day in G. This scumbag had to be tortured. He had to torture him hard and make him regret it so much that he cried for his parents. Think of a way. Don't let him go. He must have done something else. Okay, I'll delay it again. However, the other party is from G, which is the provincial capital. If the other party can find the people from the Public Security Bureau in G, we can't hold on for long. We have to let him go. Okay, let me know when you let him go. I can't let him go back to G like this. Got it. Don't worry. In the evening, the 2 brothers drank a few glasses of wine together. Are you still going back to Lianshan County at night? No, I've drunk so much wine. Do I dare to go back? Okay, then let's drink more. Okay. The 2 of them stayed at Wang Yao's house until it was almost 10 p.m. Wang Yao's father also accompanied them. It happened that he also liked to drink. Let's go. Seeing that Wang Mingbao seemed to be drunk, Wang Yao said, Slow down. Let me walk you. No, it's just a few steps away. It's no problem. Wang Mingbao waved his hand. Wang Yao watched him cross the river before turning to go home. The next morning, Wang Mingbao received a call from his buddy in the police station. What? So fast? Yes, the other party's relationship is very strong. My superior received a call from the city. Okay, I got it. Wang Mingbao immediately told Wang Yao about this matter. SSS, Aya. Wang Yao smiled and rubbed his forehead. This scumbag, he came out like this. Fine, he can go back like this. No way. Let's go and see him off. Okay. The 2 brothers drove to the town's police station and happened to meet Li Xiaoyang coming out. Hey, the air outside is so fresh. He went out and saw Wang Yao. Damn, what's going on? He was stunned. Just as he was in a daze, a car drove into the town's police station. The car had a license plate from G City. After the car stopped, a middle-aged man got out of the car. He was slightly plump and looked like a vulture. Uncle Sunday, as soon as he saw that person, Li Xiaoyang's heart, which was still a little worried just now, calmed down. Chapter 310. Li Xiaoyang stopped when he walked to Wang Yao's side. He stared at the young man with a smile on his face. The more he looked at him, the more annoyed he felt. Now, he really wanted to slap him a few times. It would be best if he could step on him a few times. Wang Yao, this is not over. This was intimidation. It was a blatant intimidation. There was a saying that when the scar was healed, one would forget the pain. At this moment, the character of a playboy made him lose his mind again. He forgot what kind of means the young man in front of him had. Suddenly, he felt his body leaning forward uncontrollably. "Be careful." Wang Yao reached out to support him. "Oh no!" When Li Xiaoyang's body fell, his heart skipped a beat. Wang Yao's hands were like dancing butterflies. He quickly patted and poked his chest and abdomen. His speed was extremely fast and his movements were very subtle. Li Xiaoyang only felt as if something rushed into his body. Then, a force pushed him up. "Are you okay?" Wang Yao smiled and looked at Li Xiaoyang, who obviously hadn't come back to his senses. What did you do to me?" At this moment, his voice trembled. The scene just now reminded him of his nightmarish experience in G City. He knew that damn Wang Yao must have done something to him. His body trembled with fear. "I saw you fall, so I helped you up." "You must have done something to me." Li Xiaoyang's face became pale. "You even helped me up. I'd rather you step on me a few times." "Xiaoyang, what's going on?" The middle-aged man came to their side and looked at Wang Yao. "Uncle Son, it's him. He wants to harm me." Li Xiaoyang pointed at Wang Yao said. "What the hell are you talking about?" Wang Mingbao immediately said. He was not a person who was afraid of trouble. "Young man, don't be too rash." The middle-aged man looked at Wang Mingbao and said. "If I'm not rash, can I still be called a young man?" Wang Mingbao was not afraid at all. "Ha ha!" The middle-aged man smiled. His eyes were a little cold. "Let's go, Xiaoyang. You just wait." He hiccuped. "Take care, I won't see you off." Wang Yao stood in the yard and watched the car leave. "Hey, what did you do to him?" Wang Mingbao asked with a smile. "It's just a little trick. I guarantee that he'll feel so good that he'll never forget it," Wang Yao said with a smile. "Xiaoyang, how did you incur their enmity?" When I was in G City, She didn't say much and kept burping. "Come, drink some water." "Thank you, Uncle Son, Li Xiaoyang didn't expect the hiccups to get worse and worse. Li Xiaoyang felt his stomach churning as if water was boiling. Different things were rushing up, and in an instant it reached his throat. "Stop the car, Uncle Sunday, what happened?" He couldn't hold it in for a moment and vomited in the car. The whole car was filled with a sour smell. The middle-aged man frowned slightly. On the way back, Li Xiaoyang kept hiccuping and vomiting. In the end, he vomited so much that his stomach almost convulsed. Seeing this, the middle-aged man had no choice but to send him to the nearest hospital in Haik for treatment. "Somewhere in Haik, how are you, Xiaoyi?" Fang Jingyuan looked at his daughter with concern. Since returning from the mountain village clinic, this was the third medicine his daughter had taken. It didn't matter if the medicine didn't work, but it couldn't have side effects. His daughter's body couldn't withstand the torture. "Dad, I feel quite good. My body is warm and I have some strength. This medicine should be effective," Fang Yi said with a smile. "Well, take a few more doses according to the method he said and see the effect." "Okay. I hope it's really effective and not an illusion," Fang Jingyuan thought to himself. In the Su family's house in Jing, Su Xiaoxue, who was lying on the hospital bed, had removed most of the gauze on her body. Most of the skin on her body began to grow rapidly. Her voice was much better now, and she could simply move her fingers. These obvious changes were noticed by Song Ruiping. Every time she saw her daughter get better, she was so happy that she shed tears. However, Dr. Wang hadn't done anything for nearly 2 months, which made her a little worried. "Dr. Chen, is Xiaoxue's condition okay?" "Yes, it's considered stable," Dr. Chen said. During this period, he regularly gave acupuncture treatment to Su Xiaoxue, but he didn't prescribe any medicine. He had no choice. The medicine prescribed by Wang Yao was too amazing. The effect was amazing. He couldn't think of a better medicine even if he racked his brains. It's best to ask Dr. Wang to come as soon as possible. He could see signs of relapse by checking Su Xiaoshue's pulse. Without the suppression and treatment of the magic medicine, the condition that had just improved could completely worsen. Okay. After seeing Dr. Chen off, Song Ruiping walked back and forth in the living room for a few steps. Then, she made a phone call. Lao Su, I'm going out tomorrow to see Dr. Wang, said Su Xiaoxue. Then, she called Chen Buiyuan. You're going in person? Yes. Okay, I'll arrange it right away. Chen Buiyuan didn't dare to be careless. He knew that Song Ruiping's current status was extraordinary. If something happened to her, he couldn't afford to be responsible. Don't cause trouble. Okay. In Haik City Hospital, Li Xiaoyang was almost paralyzed on the bed. He had no strength all over his body, but he still couldn't stop hiccuping. Ever since he was admitted to Haik City Hospital, the middle-aged man had used his connections. Although the doctors treated him at a very fast speed, they still couldn't do anything about his hiccups and vomiting. Now, he had another problem: diarrhea. His diarrhea was bleeding. The nightmare from last time came again. Why? He regretted being so close to that jinx at that time, but what was the use of regretting? Hang in there a little longer. Your second uncle will be here soon. Li Xiaoyang was from the Xinglin family. In this generation, his father was an official in the Ministry of Health, and his position was not low. His second uncle specialized in medical skills and was quite famous in the medical field. Both of them were reputable figures in Ji City. However, Li Xiaoyang was definitely a hedonistic son of a rich family, and he made them worry a lot. Sigh, the medical standards in Haik City. Director Li, why are you here? A deputy director of Haik City Hospital saw Li Yaoxing by chance and was very surprised. This director had real power in the Ministry of Health. It was said that he was very popular to be promoted to deputy director. It was rare to see such a person, but he came to Haik City Hospital without any notice. Something couldn't have happened, could it? You are? Li Yaoxing didn't remember knowing this person. My name is Quang Guangxing, the deputy director of Haik City Hospital. I have the honor to meet you once. Oh, hello. Li Yaoxing reached out his hand when he heard that this person was the deputy director of Haik City Hospital. After all, this person's position was not low, and he was also under his jurisdiction. He might be useful in the future. What are you doing here? Oh, I'm here to see a patient. It's a private matter. This is my contact information. Just let me know if you need my help. Okay. Li Xiaoyang took the man's business card and quickly walked into the hospital with his brother. Private matter? Quang Guangxing's mind was very active. He was thinking about how to climb up this branch. It would be very helpful for his future career. Director Li, how did this happen? Li Yaoxing saw his son lying on the hospital bed. He hadn't seen him for a few days, but he had become skinny again. He looked like a heavy smoker. Li Yaoxing immediately became angry. What did you do this time? It's still the same person, Wang Yao. Dad, this time you have to make a decision for me. If you don't believe me, you can ask Uncle Sunday, Jioming? It should be that young man's doing. Xiaoyang was fine before, but since he had a short physical contact with the young man named Wang Yao in the town's police station, he began to hiccup, vomit, and have diarrhea, the middle-aged man said. Physical contact? Short physical contact? Li Xiaoyang's second uncle asked. Yes, I was defeated by him like this last time, Li Xiaoyang's second uncle said. Making the same mistake again and again. Are you a fool? Chapter 3:11. Brother, don't be angry. Let me take a look at Yao first. Li Yaoxiang comforted his brother. He was actually very dissatisfied with this nephew of his. He did not do his job all day long. He had said it before, but there was no other way. This character had been cultivated since he was young. It would take a lot of effort to change it. His sister-in-law would never agree. He sat by the bed and diagnosed his nephew who kept causing trouble. After a moment, he got up and said, "It's the same as last time, but more serious." "The meridians are damaged?" "Yes," Li Yaoqiang said. "Is there a way?" "Wait a moment." The method Li Yaoqiang used was also to feel the pulse. He was very accomplished in traditional Chinese medicine. He frowned slightly. "What's wrong?" "What's the name of the person you mentioned?" "Wang Yao?" "Yes." "What's wrong, second uncle?" "Nothing. Lie down first." Li Yaoqiang took out a set of silver needles from the bag he carried with him. He just felt the pulse and found that there were problems with several of his nephew's meridians. They were forcibly blocked by external forces. He was going to use the silver needles to forcibly dredge the meridians with external forces. Okay. Well, why is he always burping? Without any warning, Li Yaoqiang suddenly slapped Li Shaoyang, giving him a fright. "What are you doing, second uncle?" It did not work. Under normal circumstances, a sudden shock would have a certain effect on stopping the burping. "Let's treat your burping first. Otherwise, I can't give you acupuncture." Li Yaoqiang used a combination of massage and medicine. It took him a whole day to stop Li Shaoyang's burping. Phew, it finally stopped. Li Shaoyang let out a long breath. Li Yaoqiang wiped the sweat on his forehead. He did not expect that it would take so much effort to stop the burping. "Take a rest first. I'll give you acupuncture tomorrow." Li Shaoyang was exhausted from all the torment. That night, Li Yaosheng and Li Yaoqiang stayed in hike. "Can Shaoyang be transferred to another hospital tomorrow?" "Yes." "Okay. Go back to Ji as soon as possible." "That young man named Wang Yao? Of course I won't let him have it easy." Li Yaosheng's eyes flashed with ruthlessness. The mountain village was particularly quiet at night. Although it was already the beginning of autumn, the air was still stuffy. After dinner, Wang Yao received a call from Chen Buiyuan. This was the third time that Chen Buiyuan had called him that day. He only had one purpose: to check if Wang Yao was at home, because Mrs. Song was coming tomorrow. "Yes," Wang Yao replied with a smile. He had no plans to go out anyway. "Guess?" "Yes, he's from Beijing. Do you want to prepare something early and come over for lunch?" "No need." Wang Yao hurriedly waved his hand. "It's just a patient's family. It's a little special. If Wang Yao had to entertain every person who came, wouldn't he be exhausted to death?" "Yes." Hearing his son say so, Wang Yao didn't say anything more. The next morning, the sun rose early. Wang Yao went down the mountain and went to the clinic. "Oh, are they ripe?" To his surprise, he found a bunch of grapes were ripe. He picked one and put it into his mouth. Sweet. It was juicy and sweet. It tasted great. He directly plucked this skewer, washed it with water, and then put it on the fruit plate. At around 10 a.m., a black car drove along the cement road into the mountain village. "Dr. Wang is in this mountain village?" "Yes, ma'am." Song Ruiping had been observing along the way. She knew Hike was just a small coastal town. The environment was not bad, but the economy was the worst in the peninsula. As for Lianshan County, it was even worse. The economy was not good, and the infrastructure in all aspects could not be compared with those in big cities. No matter how she thought about it, she didn't think that the doctor with extraordinary medical skills would be willing to stay here. The road in the mountain was not easy to drive on, mainly because it was too narrow. Cars and motorcycles had to drive slowly when passing by. It was not easy to reach the mountain village. The car stopped at the south end of the village. After Song Ruiping got out of the car, the first thing she saw was the eye-catching black roof and white walls. "It's a very beautiful building." "Yes, I heard that a university professor helped to design it." "This way, ma'am." Chen Buiyuan led the way in the front. After entering the small courtyard, they immediately felt that the temperature had dropped a lot. It was not as stuffy as before. The decoration of this courtyard is very exquisite, Song Ruiping said. Yes. Dr. Wang, Chen Buiyuan said softly. Please come in. Wang Yao's voice came from the room. The decoration of the room was very simple and elegant. Hello, Dr. Wang. Hello, please have a seat. After sitting down, Song Ruiping smiled and chatted with Wang Yao. After chatting for a while, Song Ruiping also said the purpose of her visit. I wonder when Dr. Wang is free to see Xiaoxue again. Well, maybe next month. Because of the mission, Wang Yao definitely could not go out this month. During this time, he had some vague ideas. It was estimated that he could find a better treatment for Su Xiaoxue's illness. He just needed to consider more carefully. Song Ruiping was a little disappointed. It was less than half of August. If Wang Yao went to Jing, it would be September at the earliest. Is there anything I can do? You may need some medicinal herbs by then. That's not a problem. Just tell Buiyuan if you need anything. Okay. Try the grape. They are self-grown. Wang Yao pointed at the bunch of grapes on the plate with a smile. Thank you. Song Ruiping symbolically picked a grape and put it into her mouth. The taste is very good, surprisingly good. It's very delicious. Thank you. Song Ruiping only stayed for less than 20 minutes. Then she left. Is he really willing to stay in this mountain village? Yes. You haven't been to the mountain yet. He has a herbal field on the mountain. It's very magical. After hesitating for a while, Chen Buiyuan used the word magical. After thinking for a while, it was the only word that was suitable. Magical. I must go and have a look when I have time next time, Song Ruiping said with a smile. After seeing Song Ruiping off, Wang Yao asked Li Maoshuang for some special medicinal herbs. Indigo, purple grass, they were all herbs for cooling the blood and detoxifying. These herbs were not single herbs. They were a mixture of several herbs. Wang Yao did not have a complete set of herbs. In the afternoon, Li Maoshuang personally delivered the medicinal herbs he needed to him. Why do you need these herbs? Li Maoshuang dealt with herbs. The herbs Wang Yao asked for were relatively rare. I want to do an experiment, Wang Yao said with a smile. Oh, grapes. There was only half a bunch of grapes left. They were like purple agates and looked delicious. Try it. I grew them myself. Delicious. After eating one, Li Maoshuang gave him a thumbs up. These are mine. Okay. Wang Yao smiled. There are more in the courtyard outside. They are not ripe yet. You must leave a bunch for me when they are ripe. No problem. After finishing the grapes, Li Maoshuang still wanted more. Obviously, he did not have enough. It's too little. Have some tea. Wang Yao poured him a cup of tea. You haven't been out recently? No, I've been at home. Let's get together some other day when it's cooler. No problem. It's my treat this time. That's settled. Okay. Is Dr. Wang here? While they were talking, they heard someone shouting outside. Someone is here. I won't disturb you. Okay. Wang Yao went out and bumped into a family of 3. It was Fang Jingyuan's family who had come 2 days ago. Hello, Dr. Wang. After seeing Wang Yao come out, Fang Jingyuan hurriedly went up to greet him. He came today because his daughter's health had improved a lot after taking the medicine prescribed by Wang Yao. He also asked a doctor friend to take a look at her. Her body had indeed recovered a little. Only then did he realize that Dr. Wang was indeed capable, so he hurried over. Come in and have a seat. Do you feel better? Yes, much better, Fang Yi said with a smile. Her body did feel a little better. At the very least, she had more strength, and her spirit was also slightly better. Sit down. I'll take a look at you again. She reached out and tried. She did feel better. That was because the medicine had a certain healing effect on her body. Chapter 312. Continue to take this medicine. I'll make a few more for you. Okay, thank you. The cost of this course of medicine would be correspondingly higher. I'll make another medicine for you. The effect will be better if the two medicines are used together. Since Li Maoshuang had started to believe in him, Wang Yao made her a set of detoxification drugs that he had prepared beforehand. Li Maoshuang had just delivered a few key ingredients to Wang Yao. Wang Yao weighed the medicine one by one. He had not reached the level of those powerful traditional Chinese medicine masters. He could just grab the medicine casually and have the right amount of medicine. Fang Jingji wanted to use indigo, purple grass, and other medicinal herbs. The main effect was to detoxify. Come back for a follow-up 3 days after taking it. Okay, thank you, doctor. With the effect last time, Fang Jingyuan had already believed that this young doctor had skills that were not commensurate with his age. Although the cost of these medicinal herbs was close to 1,000 yuan, they were much happier than last time. After seeing them off, Wang Yao went back to the house and opened the system panel. The prompt in the task was only 15 points. There was still a long way to go to reach 50 points. There was not much time left. Half of the 1 month had passed. Wang Yao rubbed his forehead. What should I do? Should I advertise? Just as he was thinking about this matter, Li Xiaoyang, who was beaten up badly by him, had returned to Ji. Phew, I'm so tired. He felt tired lying down all the way. Xiaoyang, what's wrong with you? His mother was frightened when she saw her son like this. He was like this last time. Why is he like this again? Sister-in-law, don't worry. Xiaoyang's body is fine. Li Yaoqiang comforted her. He could treat this disease, but it would take some effort. Putting other things aside, the young man named Wang Yao should have extraordinary attainments in medical theory and the human body's veins. He was a talent. Brother, let Xiaoyang stay in the hospital. Stay in the hospital? Yes, the medical conditions in the hospital will be better. Arrange for him to stay in my place. Okay. In this way, Li Xiaoyang was hospitalized for the 3rd time in less than 2 months. Yao Xing, what's wrong with Xiaoyang this time? Did he offend someone he shouldn't have? I'll take care of it. You don't have to worry about it, Li Yaoxing said, his eyes as fierce as a wolf's. He knew his son's temperament very well. However, no matter how disobedient he was and how much trouble he caused outside, he was still his son. He could not take it lying down, even if he was not in Ji City, when his son was tortured so miserably by others. Hike City? He was considering what connections he could use in that city. In Lianshan County, Renhe Clinic. On this day, 2 old men in their 60s came. Hello, doctor. Hello, Pan Mei said with a smile. Excuse me, is there a young doctor here with the surname Wang? Surnamed Wang? Pan Mei was stunned for a moment before realizing that the person they were looking for was Wang Yao. That Dr. Wang is Wang Yao, right? We don't know what his name is. We only know that he's here and is very good at treating headaches, the man said. I'm sorry, he's not here today. Is that so? What should we do? We're from Ju City. We heard from our relatives that my husband has had headaches for several years and hasn't gotten better. We specially came here to ask him to take a look. Well, Pan Mei hesitated. It was indeed quite far from Ju City to Lianshan County. It would take 2 hours by car. It was not appropriate for the 2 old men to come here. Pan Jun happened to come in when they were talking. What's wrong, sister? Pan Mei then told her brother about the situation of the 2 old men. What a coincidence. I'm about to go to his place. I have something to ask. Do you want me to drive you there with me? What? The couple was stunned. They wondered if there was something fishy about this clinic. They did not want to be cheated. Okay. The old couple discussed for a while. Pan Jun then drove them to the mountain village where Wang Yao was. Seeing Pan Jun drive into the mountain village, the old couple became more and more uneasy. Dr. Pan, Dr. Wang is in the village? Yes, he has a clinic in the village. Pan Jun smiled. Don't worry, I'm not a bad person. It's not far ahead. In the car, he could naturally see the worry of the two old men sitting in the back. To be honest, there were not many doctors who were as enthusiastic as him. If it were other clinics, they could completely ignore these things. If the patient was not there, who could do anything, it would be a wasted trip. We're here. It's this mountain village. The car turned south into the mountain village and stopped at the south end. It's here. This house is quite beautiful. The two old men got out of the car. They were also from the village in Jew City. Most of the buildings in the village were the same. They had never seen such a beautiful house. Let's go. He's here today. Before coming, Pan Jun had specially called Wang Yao to ask. After pushing the door open and entering the courtyard, he called out softly. In the room, Wang Yao was reading a book. After seeing the two people behind Pan Jun, he was slightly stunned. Let me introduce you. This is Dr. Wang, the person you're looking for. They came from Jew City specifically to see you. They came to my sister's clinic. I happened to meet them, so I brought them here together. Is that so? Please come in. After hearing what Pan Jun said, he carefully looked at the two old men again. Their complexions were not very good. Both of them had health problems. The man's breathing had a murmur. The illness was in his lungs. The woman's breathing was weak. She was in poor health and had heavy bags under her eyes. At first glance, it was obvious that she did not sleep well and was prone to insomnia. Uncle, Auntie, who is treating the patient? Me, the old woman said. Have a seat. Wang Yao did not ask much. He checked her pulse. Auntie, you don't usually rest well, right? Yes, I often have headaches. I can't sleep at night. The weather is even hotter. Let me give you a massage first. Wang Yao asked her to sit down. Then, he gently massaged her head and neck. The woman's cervical spine was not very good, which was one of the reasons for her headaches. The massage was mainly to loosen the meridians and make the blood vessels in her head flow more smoothly. After a short while, the woman's forehead was covered in sweat. How do you feel? It's quite comfortable, the woman said with a smile. She was telling the truth. Previously, she always felt dizzy, as if there was something in her head. After the massage, she suddenly felt much better and more awake. It was as if something had been squeezed out of her head. I'll prescribe you another medicine. Take it for a week and see how it works. Wang Yao immediately wrote a prescription. Then, he took the herbs from the medicine cabinet, weighed them, and prepared a medicine. The main effect was to relieve depression and calm the nerve. He had a lot of these prescriptions in his mind. This is the method to decoct the medicine. The precautions when taking it. It's hot. You'd better not go out of the house. Okay. How much is it? Wang Yao looked at the two old people's clothes and said the price. It was not even enough to cover the cost of the herbs. The two old people took out a cloth bag from their pockets and took it out. They gave it to Wang Yao. Grandpa, Auntie, please wait for a while. I still have something to talk to Dr. Wang. I'll call you back later, Pan Jun said. Okay. The two old people sat on a wooden chair and waited. What's the matter? Can you make a house call and see a patient? What patient? A patient we received in the emergency room. His condition is a bit strange, Pan Jun said. Go to your hospital? Yes. This time, Pan Jun was shocked by the accident last time. He was afraid that there would be another accident. In fact, the patient he mentioned was in a stable condition and was preparing to be transferred to the inpatient department. However, he always felt that something was not right, but he could not tell what it was. When? Anytime. In a while? Okay. Pan Jun was happy. In fact, he could completely ignore this matter. After all, the patients in the emergency room would be transferred to other departments after receiving treatment. The responsibility after that would not have much to do with him. Chapter 313. However, his conscience as a doctor made him unable to let go of this matter. He could not think of many people, so he came to Wang Yao. Let's go. Pan Jun drove the car with the two elderly people in front. Wang Yao drove the car and followed behind. They arrived in Lianshan County in less than 20 minutes. Pan Jun drove them directly to the station. The two old men were very grateful. They kept saying that they had met a good person, which made Pan Jun feel a little embarrassed. He left the station and went to Lianshan People's Hospital with Wang Yao. Where is the patient? Cardiology. Is it a heart problem? That's what I thought in the emergency department, but the test report showed that there was a problem with his blood composition. On the way upstairs, the two of them discussed the situation of the patient they were about to see. Hello, Director Pan. Hello. On the way, some doctors and nurses greeted Pan Jun. He also responded to them one by one. Through this situation, it could be seen that Pan Jun was a good staff member in this hospital. We're here. The cardiology department was located on the 8th floor. Pan Jun took Wang Yao to the ward where the patient was. The patient lying on the hospital bed had a very bad feeling. He looked to be in his 60s and was all skin and bones. He looked like one of those heavy smokers on TV or refugees who had not eaten for a long time. Beside the bed was a woman in her 30s. She should be his relative. He took a few steps closer. The patient's breathing was uneven and turbid. Pan, why are you here? Just as Wang Yao was about to check the patient's pulse to see the details of his body, a doctor came in from outside the ward. I came to take a look. Pan Jun was a little embarrassed. After all, this was not the department he was in charge of. He did not greet his colleagues before coming. It was not good to greet them. To put it bluntly, it was a problem of doubting the skills of his colleagues. Why? Are you worried about this patient? His colleague asked. Yes, I'm a little worried. When he was sent to the emergency department yesterday, his condition was quite critical, Pan Jun said with a smile. His condition is much better now. It's basically stable, the doctor said with a smile. You're thinking too much. That's good, Pan Jun said with a smile. While they were talking, Wang Yao had quietly put his fingers on the patient's wrist. His arm was a little cold. His pulse was weak. This was not a seeming phenomenon. What are you doing? The patient's family member noticed Wang Yao's actions. I'm fine. My arm is exposed, so it's a bit cold, Wang Yao said with a smile. This is... The doctor looked at Wang Yao. Oh, a friend of mine. During the introduction, he saw Wang Yao's hint. Then, he chatted with his colleagues for a while before leaving. How was it? He asked after coming out. Is the patient hospitalized because of myocardial infarction? Yes, Pan Jun replied. In today's society, this disease was becoming more and more common, and there was a trend of younger people suffering from it. Didn't you give him a full body checkup? I did an ultrasound and an electrocardiogram in the emergency department. Then you didn't find any other problems? No, what's wrong? Didn't you find any tumor in his liver? Wang Yao asked. Tumor? Is it benign or malignant? Pan Jun was surprised. Malignant, Wang Yao said after a moment of silence. A malignant tumor was most likely cancer. It shouldn't be. With the current level of medical technology, it should be easier to tell. No, I have to talk to him. After that, Pan Jun went to find his colleague. Not long after, he came back. His face was not very good. What's wrong? He's going to do an MRI tomorrow. Then, it should be able to be found out, Wang Yao said. Your colleague has a problem with it? Yes, a little. When Pan Jun went to talk to his colleague, although his colleague was still smiling, when he answered, there was a hidden meaning in his words. He felt that Pan Jun was meddling too much. In fact, some departments looked down on outpatient clinic. The doctors in the outpatient clinic usually knew a little about everything, but they were not proficient in anything. After receiving the patients, they still had to transfer the patients to various professional departments. "We've done what we can. The rest is up to them," Wang Yao said with a smile. After this incident, his impression of Pan Jun was much better. In the current atmosphere, such a responsible doctor was still rare. "By the way, is it early stage or early stage? If the treatment is carried out in time, there may be a chance," Wang Yao said. "Tomorrow I'll come again." When they came out of the hospital, it was already past 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Pan Jun said that he wanted to treat Wang Yao to a meal to express his gratitude. Wang Yao could not refuse, so he agreed. Pan Jun chose a very high-end restaurant and ordered a lot of dishes. "Can the two of us finish all the dishes you ordered? Why don't you call a few more friends, the ones who had dinner with you last time?" Pan Jun asked. "Okay, I'll ask." Wang Yao called Wang Mingbao and the others. Not long after, Wei Hai and Wang Mingbao rushed over. Li Maoshuang had already eaten and was at his mother-in-law's house. He could not make it. It was not the first time that they had met Pan Jun. "Why are you in town today?" Pan Jun then told them what had happened that day. "Hey, doctors like you are very rare nowadays," Wei Hai said. "Hey, I'm just worried for nothing," Pan Jun said with a smile. Wang Yao chatted with them while thinking about the patient he had just diagnosed. In the early stage, perhaps medicine could suppress the cancer. Malignant tumors were a mountain that medicine was trying to conquer. In today's society, cancer had become one of the 3 major threats to human health. Once a person got sick, it was basically a death sentence. Seeing that Wang Yao was slightly lost in thought, Wang Mingbao gently touched him and asked, "What are you thinking about?" "Nothing." "Drink." "Yes, drink." They all lived in Lianshan County, so it was not a problem to leave the car outside. Wang Yao could not, so he drank tea. It was almost 3 o'clock in the afternoon when they came out of the hotel. "You don't have to drive." "Of course not. Drunk driving is so strict now." "Hey, why don't we find a KTV and shout?" Wei Hai suggested. "Forget it, I have to go back." "You guys go ahead," Wang Yao said with a smile. "Let's go," Pan Jun said. "Let's go." Wang Yao said goodbye to them and drove back to the mountain village. When he returned to the mountain village, he found 2 people waiting outside the clinic. The 2 people were in their 40s. They were well-dressed and well-maintained. They looked like a couple. "Are you Dr. Wang?" They were surprised to see Wang Yao open the door. "Yes, you are." "It's like this." They then told him why they came. It turned out that they were people from the nearby Haoping. They happened to hear that there was a doctor with extraordinary medical skills in the mountain village. They happened to be free today, so they came to see him. "Come in." Wang Yao let them into the clinic. "The environment here is very good. You want to see a doctor?" Wang Yao looked at the 2 people. The 2 people looked good. Their eyes were bright and their breathing was balanced. They did not look like they were sick. No, it's not us. It's our son." "He didn't come with you." "Well, it's not convenient for him, so he didn't come," the man said. "Dr. Wang, can you make a house call?" "Sorry, I can't for the time being," Wang Yao refused with a smile. "When will you be here?" "Usually, I'm here." After asking a few more questions, the couple took their leave. "He's too young. Could he be a fraud?" "No," the middle-aged man said. "Can you bring your son to see him?" "Okay." The black car drove away from the mountain village. Here they come again. "Hey, what kind of business do you think Fenghua's son is doing? Why does he always have a car?" "He's buying medicine." "It doesn't seem like it." At night, it was the first rain after the beginning of autumn. It was not heavy and did not last long. It only lasted for a little more than 2 hours. Under the watering of the drizzle, the herbs in the herbal field seemed to grow a little taller at night. Chapter 3:14. What was Qi? It could not be seen or touched, but it really existed. The qi in the qi observation, in geomancy, was the qi movement of a part of the world. People also had qi. The strength of the qi determined life, old age, illness, and death. Of the four ancient methods, looking, listening, questioning, and feeling the pulse, the first was this looking, and it was also the most difficult. With just a pair of eyes, one could see through the ups and downs of the human body and the patient. In the early morning, Wang Yao brewed a decoction and was surprised to hear the system prompt. The host has met the upgrade requirement. Do you want to upgrade? Of course. After upgrading, Wang Yao obtained a rare skill point. Then, he added it to the medical skills without hesitation. Inspection. Observed the spirit, color, and shape of the body to determine the illness. It's all done. At the moment of enlightenment, a large amount of knowledge poured into his mind. This was not the first time he had experienced such a feeling. What was different this time was that he had mastered all the theories of the four methods of diagnosis. These methods of diagnosis were independent of each other, but they also complemented each other. When all these knowledge were put together, he could master them through a comprehensive study. Wang Yao felt that he had made progress again. It was not the kind of progress that could be said at once, but a kind of overall improvement. Is it here? It should be. A car came to the village. There were 2 people in the car. Where is it exactly? Just get out of the car and ask. Don't forget what happened last time. Let's investigate in secret. F***ck, why are you so mysterious about this? Let me make a call and ask. The car was parked in the middle of the village for at least an hour. Got it. It's in the south. When it was almost 11 o'clock, the car moved and drove to the south of the city. Look, someone is looking for Wang Yao again. The people in the village had gradually gotten used to foreign cars. Hey, this house is not bad. I'll go down and take a look. The car opened and a young man got out. He had a crew cut and a cigarette in his mouth. After getting out of the car, he walked around Wang Yao's clinic. Tsk, she's pretty. While he was admiring, 2 cars drove into the mountain village and came to the south of the village. The young man stared at the black car and his eyes lit up. 2 Mercedes-Benz S-Class. A man in his 40s got out of the car first. His face was expressionless and his eyes were cold. The young man's eyes met his for a brief moment, and he immediately shivered all over. He hurriedly avoided the other party's gaze, feeling as if he was looking at a snake. The stiff-faced man also frowned slightly. What happened? I'm fine, sir. Sun Jingrong got out of the car. Are there other people? His gaze also fell on the car parked in front of them. Let's go in and take a look. The stiff-faced man walked in front. Hey, why does this person look so familiar? The young man was slightly fascinated when he saw Sun Jingrong. The door of the clinic was not locked, which meant that there was someone inside. In fact, Wang Yao had just come down from the mountain not long ago. He picked a few bunches of grapes, washed them, and was tasting them. Is Dr. Wang here? Please come in. Hello, Dr. Wang. Hello, Mr. Sunday. This time, Sun Jingrong did not come by himself. He brought his son, who was still conscious, to seek medical treatment. After listening to him, Wang Yao pondered for a moment. Please bring your son in. Since Sun Jingrong was here, he had to take a look. Moreover, he had already learned the method of inspection, so it was a good time to give it a try. Sun Yunxing was still thin, but he was still conscious. However, his face was strange and frighteningly red. As soon as Sun Yunxing came in, Wang Yao began to use the method of inspection. In fact, the method of inspection was to infer the patient's physical condition and the location of the patient by carefully observing the person's appearance and appearance. Then, he could determine the cause of the illness. For example, when Bien Ke saw Duke Huan from afar, he knew that Duke Huan was terminally ill. That was the method of inspection. It could only be effective when one was in a high position. The fire penetrated the body. The heart's blood was too strong. Solitary yang did not last long. Even with the miraculous effect of the frost grass, it could only be temporarily suppressed. Yunxing, this is the Dr. Wang I often mention to you. It is thanks to him that you were able to recover your consciousness. Thank you, Dr. Wang. Sun Yunxing immediately bowed. His voice was weak, like the willow catkins floating in the wind. This was an extreme loss of origin. Hey, you are seriously ill. You don't have to bow like this. Sit. Looking at Sun Yunxing's complexion, his body was weak, his spirit was weak, and the yin and yang in his body were out of balance. He was already terminally ill. His voice was weak, and his organs were out of balance. He was like a candle in the wind. He was about to die. Dr. Wang, what do you think? Wait a moment. Wang Yao reached out to check Sun Yunxing's pulse. This was just to confirm the previous diagnosis. The medicine I gave you has been used up, right? Yes, it was used up 3 days ago. If not, Sun Jingrong would not have come in such a hurry. I don't have a better way for now. I can only suppress it again, Wang Yao said. He said bluntly. In fact, he already had a way, but this method required the combination of excellent acupuncture and moxibustion. He did not have such ability now. Can I trouble Dr. Wang to prescribe the medicine? Wait a moment. The medicine was actually very simple. It was just frost grass and ancient spring water. Oh, these are grapes I grew myself. Have a taste. They taste good. The decoction was not complicated, but the timing was not right. The first 2 times he decocted the decoction, he decocted it at night on Nanshan Hill. The first time he decocted the decoction was to get rid of the yin qi at night, and the second time he was to get the qi from the mountains. Although these 2 points were simple, if they were changed, the effect might be very different. It's not time yet. You have to come to get the medicine tomorrow, Wang Yao said. It depends on the time to prescribe the medicine? Sun Yunxing asked. Yes, your disease is a syndrome of extreme yang, so it needs to be treated with extreme yin medicine to get the effect of the fusion of yin and yang. The attribute of my medicine is cold yin, so I chose to decoct it at night, Wang Yao said. I didn't expect there to be so much knowledge in decocting. We won't disturb you here. We'll come to get the medicine tomorrow. Okay. Sun Jingrong then left with his son. Hey, he's gone. What are you looking at? Outside the clinic, another car left. The young man stared at the car in a daze. His companion next to him nudged him. 2 Mercedes-Benzes. I'm not stupid or blind. I know the man in the car. Bulsh *T. Is he your 7th uncle? I want to. His name should be Sun Jingrong. What Jingrong? Where did he come from? The richest man in Dao. Really? His companion was stunned. That seems to be the license plate number of Dao. It's true. Why did he come to a ditch in the middle of nowhere? He just went in here. The 2 men looked at the clinic with black tiles and white walls at the same time. Looking for him? Who the hell is he? It's noon. Let's go for lunch. The 2 men drove out and went to the restaurant in the next village. Hey, don't you think the boss is funny? We're just thugs who do illegal things. He actually asked us to keep an eye on others to see if they did anything illegal. Isn't this what the police and private detectives do? If word gets out, we'll be laughed at by our peers. Don't talk about those useless things. Hurry up and eat. Let's go again after lunch and then leave. In the afternoon, the 2 of them drove to Wang Yao's clinic again. But this time, they were not so stupid. They found a place to park and pretended that they were there for sightseeing. They wandered around and even went to a nearby hill. From there, they could see the small courtyard of Wang Yao's clinic from afar. Hey, what are we doing? The 2 men squatted on the hilltop with cigarettes in their mouths. Keeping an eye on him? Hey, in this society, it's not easy to make a living. In my opinion, we should just get some drugs and throw them in his courtyard and call the police. Hey, good idea. His companion slapped his thigh and said, I think our boss's brain hasn't worked out yet. Let's go back. The two men went down the hill excitedly. Just as they came down, they happened to see Wang Yao coming out of the clinic. The two men hurriedly stopped, like primary school students who had been caught red-handed doing bad things. Hey! Wang Yao was stunned. These two men were unfamiliar faces. Chapter 3:15. As for the two men, they had a guilty conscience. Their eyes naturally drifted. They didn't dare to look at Wang Yao directly. After all, they were just thinking about how to frame him. They were panting and their eyes were uncertain. These two strangers had a guilty conscience. Did they come to the village to do some shady business again? Wang Yao narrowed his eyes slightly and stared at them. Hello, Mr. Wang. Wang Yao was stunned. These two men actually knew his surname. Well, the person who called him was also stunned. He realized that he seemed to have said something wrong. Let's go. Let's go. Wait. Wang Yao stopped in front of the two men. What are you two doing here? Hiking. Yes, hiking. Hiking? On such a hot day? Wang Yao looked up at the sky. Although it was already August, the last part of the season had not passed. It was still very hot at this time of the year. Moreover, the mountains in this mountain village, to be honest, were not interesting at all except for Nanshan Hill where he was. Who would be stupid enough to come here for hiking? These two men were lying. Let's go. Hurry up. The two of them hurriedly got into the car and then turned around and left. Wang Yao didn't stop them. After all, they didn't do anything. After getting into the car, one of the men said, Hey, what are we afraid of? We didn't do anything wrong. Damn, you were just talking about how to frame him. He is alone. There are two of us. This is a human village. As long as you shout, at least dozens of people will rush out. Next time, I can't come out with you. Otherwise, sooner or later, I will be killed by you. Wang Yao looked at the car in the distance thoughtfully. That night, on Nanshan Hill, the mountain breeze was cool. At midnight, the yin qi was the strongest in the day. Wang Yao began to decoct the herbs. As mentioned before, the decoction was relatively simple. There was only one kind of herb, but the timing was very important. At night, the starry sky was very bright. On the mountain, there was a dim light. It was done. The white porcelain bottle was bone-chillingly cold. After packing up, it was past 2 o'clock in the morning when the lights on the mountain went out. The next day, the sky was clear. Perhaps because it was the beginning of autumn, it was still relatively cool in the morning and at night. Sun Jingrong arrived very early. This time, he only brought a car. Thank you. After receiving the medicine, he said sincerely. The money had already been transferred to Wang Yao's bank account. Mr. Sun, you're too polite. Sun Jingrong sat at Wang Yao's place for a while and chatted with him. At the same time, he tasted the grapes that Wang Yao had personally planted. Delicious. His praise was sincere and not a compliment. The grapes were indeed delicious. Then bring 2 skewers. Thank you. When Sun Jingrong left, he had an extra bag in his hand. Inside the bag were 2 bunches of grapes that looked like purple agate. Is Dr. Wang going to see other patients? This was a question that Sun Jingrong had asked when he was here. Just some relatively familiar people. This was Wang Yao's answer. During this period of time, most of the patients he had seen were introduced to him by his relatives and friends. Of course, there were exceptions, such as Fang Jingyuan. Although they were also introduced to him by Wei Hai, they were actually not familiar with each other. I know. It was enough to know that he could see patients and receive the news. Sun Yunxing was still in the hotel in Lianshan County. Well, from time to time, there was an expression of pain on his face, but it was forcibly suppressed by his strong will. Since he had taken Wang Yao's medicine and regained his sanity, he found that his body was very weak. That was true, but his will was much stronger. The pain in his body, which was like being burned by fire, could be endured for a period of time. It seemed that the torture of this terrible disease had tempered his will, like forging steel. Young master, hold on a little longer. Master will be back soon. Okay, I'm fine. Sun Jingrong came back in time. How are you? It's fine, Dad. Sun Yunxing smiled. Quick, take the medicine. He hurriedly took out the medicine that he had gotten from Wang Yao. At this time, this was the life-saving medicine. Holding it in his hand, it was bone-chilling cold, but in Sun Yunxing, it was very comfortable. After drinking it, the bone-chilling cold neutralized the terrible burning in his body, which made him feel indescribably comfortable. It was as if he had taken a comfortable cold bath in the hottest dog days. Phew! He took a long breath. How do you feel? It's suppressed. Well, Sun Jingrong also took a long breath after hearing that. It could delay the treatment for another month. Although it could not cure the disease completely, it could save his life, even if it was only for a month. Maybe there would be a turn for the better in a month, right? What's this? He pointed to the bag in Sun Jingrong's hand. Grapes, from Dr. Wang. Try it. It's delicious. Okay. Because of the disease, he could not eat most things. This was according to Wang Yao's instructions, especially some hot food, but fruit was okay. Well, it's delicious. Sun Yunxing praised sincerely. Eat more if it's delicious. We'll go back to Dao in the afternoon. Okay. In the afternoon, Chen Buiyuan came to Wang Yao's clinic with a lot of medicine. These were all the medicine he needed when communicating with Wang Yao. He bought them without hesitation. Of course, these were only a part of the medicine, but the price was not cheap because they were all wild herbs. Thank you. You're welcome. With these herbs, it should be enough to exchange for something special. Wang Yao stared at the medicine piled up in the yard. Dr. Wang, I have a question to ask. Please go ahead. Can I bring a patient to see a doctor? Chen Buiyuan asked. Of course, Wang Yao said with a smile. Okay. Chen Buiyuan's father-in-law couldn't feel his lower body because of the disease last year. He could only sit in a wheelchair, but he was only in his 70s. His wife had been complaining about it. In fact, he had invited many doctors, but none of them had a good solution. Are you free next week? Yes. I'll bring him over next week. Okay. In Ji, Li Xiaoyang was finally out of the hospital bed and could walk, but his body was even thinner. He could be blown away by a gust of wind. He had to stop and rest after a few steps. Sigh, now I feel like a disabled person. This is all thanks to Wang Yao. Thinking of this, his eyes were full of anger. I don't know how that guy is doing. He picked up the phone and made a call. Well, there's a sister. Where does she work? The Agriculture Bureau. Good, that's great. Li Xiaoyang lay on the sofa and stared at the ceiling. He seemed to be in a daze. After a while, he smiled. His smile was a little hideous. Since he couldn't touch him directly for the time being, he would start with his relatives. However, this matter had to be handled by his father. The Agriculture Bureau? Li Yaosheng, who had returned home, heard his son's words and frowned slightly. Yes, his sister is in the Agriculture Bureau. What do you want to do? Can you think of a way to get his sister to come to Ji? I don't believe that he won't give in by then. Okay. After a moment of silence, Li Yaosheng nodded and agreed with his son's idea. At night, on Nanshan Hill, Wang Yao looked at the sky. It was going to rain, and the rain was not light. For the past 2 days, he had been thinking about the two people that day. Could it be that they're here for me? It started to rain in the early morning. In the morning, Wang Yao went down the hill in the rain and went to the team in the village. He then checked the surveillance videos of the past few days. The location of the surveillance cameras in the village was not bad, and the images were clear. Soon Wang Yao found some clues. The two people in the car seemed to be monitoring him. They were indeed coming for him. After memorizing the license plate number, Wang Yao decisively began to recruit the two people through his connections. Zhao Sun? A day later, he heard the name again. Him again? Yes, it's him. It seems that I have to find time to meet Brother Sun. Chapter 316. On this day, Wang Yao picked a lot of grapes in the yard. He watered the grapes with a small scoop of ancient spring water every day. The grapes grew very well. Moreover, the grapes were plentiful and good. Recently, the harvest season had begun. He picked a lot of grapes. Then, he called his good friends and invited them to eat grape. Li Maoshuang was the first to arrive. Well, there are a lot of grapes. Do you still have any in stock? He looked at the big bunches of grapes on the table. Yes, there are still many in the yard that are not ripe. They should be ready to eat in a few days, Wang Yao said with a smile. Good, that's great. Li Maoshuang took 2 bunches of grapes from the plate and put them in a plastic bag that he had prepared in advance. Then, he put them aside. What's going on? I'll hide them first. Hey, if you really want to eat them, come back in a few days. That's because they haven't come yet. They don't know how delicious the grapes are. When they come, they will snatch them. While they were talking, Wei Hai entered the small courtyard. Hey, it's still cooler here. These are the grapes. They look good. Wei Hai did not stand on ceremony. He picked a grape and put it into his mouth before he sat down. Well, not bad. Do you have any more? His eyes lit up. Yes, in the yard. They are not ripe yet. Remember to leave 2 bunches for me. I'll come and get them in a few days. Look, Li Maoshuang said with a smile. After a while, Wang Mingbao and Tian Yuantu also came one after another. In fact, the so-called grapes were just an introduction. They took this rare opportunity to gather together and talk with each other to improve their friendship. This was the fundamental purpose. By the way, I have something to ask of you, Wang Yao said to Wei Hai. What is it? That Zhao Sun from last time, help me find a way to make an appointment with him. I have something to ask him, Wang Yao said. Wang Yao always felt that there was something wrong with the two people that day. As the saying goes, one should not be afraid of a thief stealing, but one should be afraid of a thief remembering. It was best if nothing happened. If something happened, it was always good to prepare for a rainy day. All right. What happened? Everyone asked. Then, Wang Yao briefly explained the situation. Hey, I say, these bastards are really looking for death. Wang Mingbao raised his eyebrows after listening. Didn't you inquire about the child from G City? Tian Yuantu pondered for a while and asked. No, I don't know anyone there, Wang Yao said. Why not? He Qixing is very familiar with the situation in G City, and he has a lot of connections in G City, Tian Yuantu said. Well, let's talk to him and ask him for help. They chatted and laughed together. Unknowingly, it was noon. As usual, they went to the restaurant in the village for lunch. Wang Yao had already made a reservation. Because they were regular customers, the dishes served by the boss were sufficient and of good quality. You are all driving. Don't drink too much. It's okay. How can there be no wine at a party? Hey, do you have any medicinal herbs that can be eaten without being found out about drunk driving? Wang Mingbao asked with a smile. No. Wang Yao answered very decisively. Even if he had, he would not make it for them. Drunk driving was a very dangerous thing to do. With a few cups of light wine and a pot of tea, they chatted and laughed and talked about life. At this moment, their careers, burdens, and unhappiness were all put down. Friendship was like wine. The older it was, the better it was. Sometimes, wine was actually a good thing. It let people indulge and let people forget some things temporarily. After lunch, they did not leave immediately. Instead, they went back to Wang Yao's clinic. Wang Yao made a pot of good tea and asked him to drink some water to relieve the hangover. Hey, by the way, you won't go out these days, right? No, I won't go out. What's wrong? I have a relative who is very sick. I want you to take a look at him. No problem. After 4 p.m., they felt that they had almost sobered up and left one after another. In fact, Wang Yao wanted to drive them home, but none of them agreed. After making sure that they all went home safely, the party was completely over. Then, he called He Qixing and asked him to investigate the background of Li Xiaoyang. No problem. This was He Qixing's reply. Do you have a conflict with him? Yes, there is a conflict. He is very manic and needs to be treated, Wang Yao said with a smile. After hearing this, He Qixing knew what to do in his heart. Okay, I know what to do. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you. You are welcome. The next day, the weather was clear and the wind was cool. It happened to be the weekend. Wang Ru also came home. The family gathered together. The happy day passed quickly. During dinner, Wang Yao's parents brought up Wang Yao and Wang Yao's personal problems again, but they didn't say much. It seemed that Wang Yao's parents had gotten over it. After dinner, Wang Ru quietly asked Wang Yao, Hey, can I ask you something? What is it? You are so mysterious. Well, can you treat some difficult and miscellaneous diseases? What kind of difficult and miscellaneous diseases? Well, infertility. What? Wang Yao was stunned. Sis, are you kidding me? Wang Yao said with a smile. Be serious. I am talking to you about something serious. Can you treat it? I won't, Wang Yao replied without hesitation. In fact, he could treat it. In other words, he had mastered the relevant knowledge and had the relevant ability. However, he did not intend to treat this disease for the time being because the treatment of this disease did not require touching the patient's private parts under certain circumstances. Ah, forget it then, Wang Ru said. Hey, don't you claim to be able to treat all kinds of difficult and miscellaneous diseases? Haha. Wang Yao laughed a little awkwardly. Why do you suddenly ask this? One of my colleagues has been married for 6 years and has not had a child. She has been to many places, but there is no effect. She asked me if I know a doctor in this field, Wang Ru said. Oh, you are quite enthusiastic, Wang Yao said with a smile. You don't know. The two of them were very close, but because of this, they are about to divorce. After hearing what Wang Ru said, he hesitated for a while and still did not intend to treat the patient. That night, he received a call from Wei Hai. He had asked someone to contact Zhao Senator. He estimated that there would be a result soon. Thank you. Hey, we are all friends. You don't have to thank me. Wei Hai used to be a well-known person in Hai. This kind of thing was not a big deal for him. He just did not want to have too much contact with people like that. The next day, 2 bunches of grapes in the courtyard were ripe. Wang Yao picked them and brought them home. Well, the grapes are delicious. It was the first time Wang Ru had eaten grapes from her own family. She was full of praise for the sweet taste. You planted them yourself? Yes, it's in that small courtyard. Do you have any more? Pick 2 bunches for me. I will take them home in the afternoon. Only these 2 bunches are ripe. I will pick them all. Forget it. I originally wanted to take 2 bunches to show off in the company and tempt the foodies, Wang Ru said with a smile. Next week. Okay. On Monday, Chen Buiyuan specially brought his father-in-law from afar to the mountain village. Buiyuan, the doctor you mentioned is in this mountain village? Yes. Is he very young? Very young, but his medical skills are quite good. My chief's family treats him as a distinguished guest. Young and capable. He is willing to stay in such a mountain village. Young people like him are rare nowadays, the old man said with a smile. Come, let me help you out. Chen Buiyuan helped the old man out of the car and into the wheelchair. He then pushed the old man into the courtyard. It was in the morning. There were people in the village coming and going. A few people happened to see Chen Buiyuan push the old man into Wang Yao's clinic. Hey, what do you think Feng Hua's son does? Why does the wheelchair man go there? Does he want to talk business with him? Nonsense, what kind of business can he talk about? It has been so many days. Have you seen a driveway coming to our village to pick up herbs? The person who said this was a careful person. Now that you mention it, it seems to be true. Why do so many foreigners come to see him? Hey, why do you care so much? Isn't the work in the field enough for you to do? Aren't I just curious? People in the village had never stopped talking about Wang Yao. Especially recently, there were many luxurious cars going in and out of the village, which made them even more curious about this young man who had graduated from a famous university. Chapter 317. Hello, Dr. Wang, this is my father-in-law, said Chen Buiyuan. Hello, said Wang Yao. Wang Yao looked at the old man in his 70s with a smile. The old man's complexion was good and his eyes were bright. However, his ears were dull, which was strange. While Wang Yao was looking at the old man was also looking at him. He looked so young. Although Chen Buiyuan's son-in-law had told him that Wang Yao was young, he was still surprised when he saw Wang Yao with his own eyes. It was hard to imagine that a young man like Wang Yao would have magical medical skills. Looking at his complexion was generally okay, but there were some problems with his kidneys. Judging from his smell, it was obvious that he had just taken a shower before coming here. There was still the fragrance of the shower gel on his body, which would cover some of the original unique body odor. Listening to his voice was still loud and clear, and he was full of confidence. Wang Yao felt the old man's pulse. He felt the old man's pulse from the old man's torso down to the old man's legs. The large meridians were blocked, not to mention the small meridians on the old man's leg. Blocked meridians and blocked blood flow. Naturally, the old man couldn't move or stand up. It was very rare for him to be able to maintain his current condition. The old man's disease was not easy to treat. Wang Yao knew it was a difficult disease. How is it? Asked Wang Yao. The meridians in the legs are blocked. It's difficult to treat, said Wang Yao. It's very difficult. Do you have a solution? Chen Buiyuan's father-in-law understood the meaning of his words and asked in surprise. I can try, said Wang Yao. Dad? Chen Buiyuan had to listen to his father-in-law's opinion. Let's try, said Wang Yao. Okay, said Chen Buiyuan. First, Wang Yao used massage to stimulate the meridians and acupoints on the old man's legs with external force. Although the effect might not be very good and it would take a long time to be effective, he could also take a closer look at the other conditions of the old man's legs through this process. Do you feel anything? Asked Wang Yao. Yes, it's warm, said the old man. Wang Yao finished the first massage in half an hour. Where are you from? Asked Wang Yao. Beijing, said the old man. It was thousands of miles away from Beijing. Wang Yao was sure he could cure the old man's disease, but it would take a long time. It was not something that could be cured in a day or two. This illness cannot be cured in a short period of time. Wang Yao told Chen Buiyuan the truth. How long do you think it will take? It's hard to say. Wang Yao was really not sure. So far, he had dealt with several cases of difficult and complicated diseases, such as Wei Hai, Zhou Wukong, Secretary Yang's mother, Su Xiaoxue, and Sun Yunxing. Except for Sun Yunxing, who had just been dealt with, the others had been treated for several months. So far, they had only cured Wei Hai's strange disease. But it will take at least a few months. Alright, I got it. How about this? I'll brew a batch first, but it will take some time. I'll inform you when the medicine is ready. Okay, thank you. Chen Buiyuan and his son stayed in Wang Yao's clinic for more than an hour before leaving. Buiyuan, is this Dr. Wang really that amazing? The old man still didn't believe it. After all, he didn't find anything magical about the young doctor through their interaction. Dad, this is just the first time you've met him, said Chen Buiyuan. The two medical masters in Beijing praised him. You heard what he said. He can cure this disease. It's good that he can cure it. I've thought about it. If it doesn't work, we'll rent a house here. We'll go back when you're cured, said Chen Buiyuan. When Wang Yao said the treatment would take some time, Chen Buiyuan had an idea. He wanted to rent a house nearby and hire someone to take care of the old man until he was cured. Chen Buiyuan's father-in-law was very good to him. His current status was inseparable from his father-in-law's support. Therefore, he also remembered his father-in-law's kindness and treated him as his own father. After the father and son left, Wang Yao took out his small notebook and made a note. The old man's channels and collaterals were blocked and needed to be dredged. Based on the current situation, the best medicine was the blood deblicking powder. However, he didn't have the medicine to decoct this miracle medicine yet. The purple rain in the herbal field was fine, but the polygonum vine's growth speed was a bit slow. If he forced to use it now, it was tantamount to killing the goose that laid the golden eggs. He had to exchange some of it through the system. I'll exchange some of it. He had already exchanged most of the wild medicinal herbs that Chen Buiyuan had sent over for redemption points. He had exchanged them for the everlasting grass and lingshanji, the two main medicinal herbs for decocting the muscle revitalization powder. He still had some left over. He could use the purple rain in the herbal field for the time being. Although it hadn't fully grown, the remaining points were enough to buy polygonum vine. Next, he was ready to decoct 2 decoctions and explain the miracle medicine provided by the system. In Haik, Wei Hai was on the move. He had already contacted Zhao Sun through his connections. In Ji City, He Qixing also began to investigate Li Xiaoyang through his connections. He didn't understand why Li Xiaoyang, who had nothing to do with Wang Yao, would have a grudge against him. Sigh, I hope the Li family won't do anything stupid. He was actually worried about Li Xiaoyang instead of Wang Yao. Somewhere in Hai Sun, I saw Sun Jingrong from Dao City at Wang Yao's house. Are you sure? I'm sure. I've written down the license plate number and asked someone to check it. It's really Sun Jingrong's car. Wow, that's strange. Does he have anything to do with Wang Yao? I don't know, but we should all think about it. Don't get into trouble because of this. Okay. He knew the Li family had a lot of power in Ji City, but this was Hai. It was beyond their reach. However, Sun Jingrong was different. He was the richest man in Dao City with assets worth tens of billions. He was definitely a person who had connections with both the underworld and the underworld. He also had considerable power in Hai. Many people in Haik relied on him to make a living. If he offended him, he would be in big trouble. Are you sure you didn't see wrong? Brother, I almost took a photo. The young man was about to cry. Okay, I got it. In the mountain village, on Nanshan Hill. The others are growing very slowly, but you are growing very fast. In the herbal field, Wang Yao stared at a few herbs, which were brought back by his sister from southern Yunnan. They were Dendrobium candidum and snow lotus. These herbs grew very fast in the herbal field, especially Artemisia supra, which could be used as medicine but was highly toxic. It was growing very fast. This medicine? Wang Yao looked at it and scratched his head. This medicine had a miraculous effect on internal and external injuries. If it was not used properly, it could be fatal, especially if it was taken orally. It had to be processed reasonably and the dosage had to be controlled. The ones that I want to use grow slowly, but these that I don't need for the time being are growing crazily. He went to the tree and looked at the ginseng. According to the growth habits of ginseng, it preferred yin and disliked yang. It was indeed the best choice to replenish yang qi. He had to admit that nature was magical. Naturally growing ginseng would grow a 3-leaf compound leaf every 2 years, a 5-leaf compound leaf every 5 to 8 years, and only 2 leaves after 10 years. 1 leaf was 60 years old. 4-leaf ginseng was rare. Wang Yao had planted the ginseng for only half a year, but it had already grown a 5-leaf compound leaf, and the second compound leaf had already appeared. The growth speed of the ginseng was several times faster than the ginseng in the deep mountains. I should have planted a few more. This kind of herb was the first choice for replenishing yang qi. Wang Yao used it frequently. He had always needed to get it through Li Maoshuang. He processed the herbs that he would use in the near future on the mountain and then prepared to decoct the 2 formulas. Magic herbs were different from ordinary herbs. He was going to use the spiritual qi in the battle array on the mountain to enhance the efficacy of the herbs. Of course, it was already a bit of a fantasy. I'll try to decoct the 2 formulas within a week. I'll give them to Chen Buiyuan and let him handle them. Thousands of miles away, in a corner of Tsangzhou, summer had not yet ended. Ahem. Zhou Xiong's uncle had already sat up and moved a little. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Nights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.